Red hot comic book movie news. Defenders of the Earth. Defenders. The Weekly Planet. The Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Weekly Planet, where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. Is that right? That's what I got here.
I don't have anything in front of me, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, my name is James.
You've been steering this ship for 10 years, man. I don't know.
You're right.
It's not the podcast. I tune out while you do this thing, so...
My name is James.
I tune out, but I only tune back in when you make a slight error. And I can jump on you for it.
And go, boo.
Yeah.
My name is James, also known as Mr. Sunday. With me, as always, is my co-host, Nick Mason. Is that right?
That's correct. I know that much is correct.
Cool, man.
I look at myself in the mirror every morning and go, Nick Mason? Is that you? You handsome devil, you?
Has there ever not been Nick Mason?
No.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I know, though.
Big week, Mason. We're going to talk about a couple of things, including The Mandalorian Season 3 and what we were reading. You didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it.
But I want to talk about it. I got some
great.
things to say.
Because you said you can convince me to watch it on account of how good you think it is. That's what you said.
That's what I said. Well, I messaged you earlier in the week. I'm like, we could talk about this. And you're like, should I watch it? And I'm like, it's up to you.
Yeah, great.
And you didn't.
Well, you could. With your limited time on Earth, you could watch...
Exactly. We're also going to talk about Evil Dead Rise, but leading up to that, and there are time codes below Mason.
Oh, there are time codes below Mason.
Yes, there are time cones below Mason.
That's great.
We're going to talk about some...
That's so you don't fall in a time hole.
I would hate to fall in a
They
time
put
hole.
time cones around the time hole.
So we're going to talk about new TV series for Twilight and Galaxy Quest, a new Star Trek movie, trailers for Fast X Furious and Godzilla X Kong. They've both got X in them. That's the new thing.
Putting X in a thing is cool again?
It's cool again. Thank God.
I'm hoping for the return of putting 2000 in things to make it cool again.
Yeah, sure.
It's got to come around soon enough, right?
I feel like that's the case, yeah.
Driving Miss Daisy 2000.
We've also got
like Knight Rider 2000.
We've also got a update on the Transformers animated movie, which I think is coming next year.
I see.
And then, of course, Star Wars news.
Great.
I know you love Star Wars news. That's why I'm saving it to the end.
Sometimes I think it's all right.
Yeah, well, it can be.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Turning over a new leaf.
Working my way through the sequel trilogy with my son. We've watched up to episode 8, which you loved.
James, don't put that in the public record.
So we're going to go down, obviously. But I think as a kid as well.
Look, if you see James on the street, he's with his family, don't approach him ever.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Exactly, yeah. But if he's by himself, you can approach him and yell at him for liking The Last Jedi.
Yeah. Even though it's been 6 years.
Yeah.
You can still come and yell at me. Anyway, Star Wars. He's playing the Lego Star Wars, the new one.
Oh, yes.
He's watching the movie and then being in the section and then watching the movie and being in the section.
Interesting, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's loving all of it, though. It's just like, it's all... That's what Star Wars is for, like, kids generally. It's just like, this is great and this is great. This is just more stuff, you know? Yeah.
Excited for Lego Andor?
Yeah, definitely.
Think about it. Is there must be is there a Rogue One?
There probably would be some unlockable stuff.
Okay.
He's literally
How do
playing
they
it right
end
now.
that though? How do they end Lego Rogue One?
They were going to obliterate it.
Oh, terrific.
You play as Darth Vader, you run down the corridor, you kill all the little Lego men.
Nice.
And then the Death Star shoots Orson Krennic or whatever.
Good, I like that.
Well, you also had the option. I said, do you want to watch the sequel trilogy or the prequel trilogy first? And he said the sequel trilogy. So then I'm going to go back and watch the prequels, which will be fun for me because we just did a massive deep dive and I really want to revisit those. Mason.
Yes?
This is by THR. A Twilight series is in the works for Lionsgate. This is great for us because we recently became enamored and wrapped up, and I was like a year ago now, but we covered them for Caravan of Garbage.
Every single one of them.
I felt like
all 4 or 5 of them.
5 of them.
Five of them.
The 4 books, 5 whatevers.
Nice.
They took, and then there's another book which is like an Edward spin-off. It doesn't matter. Anyways, Sinead Daly is going to be the showrunner, I believe, or head writer. She worked on Raised by Wolves and Dirk Gently and The Walking Dead.
Podcast?
Yep. She's you. The Walking Dead World Beyond. Now, it's still determining whether this is going to be like an offshoot or a remake. They're going to figure all that out, and then it's going to be shopped around to a network because Lionsgate doesn't have an app yet.
Okay, right.
And doesn't seem like they will soon-ish. So there we go. I'm not a big fan. I mean, we talked about this for the Harry Potter, but maybe you do a spin-off vampire universe, you know? What's going on with the Italians?
May Origins.
Exactly, Mason. You know, I just feel like...
Foreign vampires, what are they up to?
Where are they from? just vaguely Eastern European vampires.
Very nice. I like the sound of that.
But I remember wrapping up that series and like everybody just walked away.
Yeah.
And there was still like our vampire Illuminati, which ran the world or whatever.
Yeah.
And it felt like, shouldn't there be more of this? But then again, would they be able to get Robert Pattinson back and Kristen Stewart and whatever, you know? So maybe if it was like a small role, you know, that he could do over Skype, you know?
Sure, yeah.
Or something. Skype will be sponsoring it, not Zoom, obviously.
That's great.
They need to get the teens back on board, you know? Excited for this?
Not really.
Yeah, no,
if I'm honest. If I'm brutally honest.
I probably won't be watching.
We did watch the movies, you know, many years after the fact.
Yeah.
With the express purpose of mocking them. And that succeeded.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
There is, what I do admire those very strange movies for is they do a straight run at them. It's not like, this is weird. What a weird world. They're just like, this is weird and awful and look at it. And everybody's taking it seriously.
That is true.
That's what I loved about it. Here's something as well that's getting a series based in Galaxy Quest.
Oh, yes.
Now, this is the early days of it, but they're looking to pair a writer with Breaking Bad producer.
With bacon.
Shut up,
It's going to be
Mason.
so epic.
Stop jumping on
epic.
my mistakes that I'm doing on purpose.
Why would you be doing them if you didn't want me to
So
jump
then
on
you
it?
do a riff and then I get to tell you to shut up or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's all part of the plan.
It's all part of the plan.
Wow.
Breaking Bad producer Mark Johnson. So, yeah, looking to pair a writer up with him.
Okay.
Now, this has nearly happened a couple of times already. I think Paul Scheer was working on one version at some point.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
And that version, or both versions they're working on, were going to have the original cast. But the last version stopped because Alan Rickman died. So they just stopped it indefinitely. But now it looks as if that it will be coming back. And I'm assuming that it will be with everybody who's left. Like Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, and Tony Shalhoub. And Sam Rockwell was going to, which, I mean, that sounds great. But also, like, I don't know, man.
Can this sustain a whole series? And also, you know, a lot of people consider that a sort of, you know, perfect one-shot movie, no sequels.
Very good.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like Star Trek, I feel like it's still very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody is sort of aware of the Star Trek tropes.
Yeah, and that's all you kind of really need to know, I guess, to enjoy it. But I remember seeing it at the time at the movies and going in and being like, yeah, whatever. Like, I didn't really like Star Trek at the time, and I was a cool teen, as you remember, Mason. And I remember just being
Is that where I jump in on the mistake you made?
Yes.
Have you been where you said you're a cool teen?
That's right. And I remember just being like, fuck, that was actually, it works as like a sci-fi movie. It has a comedy.
Yeah,
There's like a weird throwback. It's great.
Sort of lightning in a bottle situation.
It absolutely is. It's like your Home Alone or your, name another movie.
Home Alone 2.
Home Alone 2. Those two lightning in a bottle movies.
That's right. Just perfect.
Just perfect movies. So, cool. I guess.
Yeah, I mean.
I even if Alan Rickman was alive, I still wouldn't feel like great about this.
Okay.
You know? Because again, it's that lightning in a bottle like Home Alone 1 and 2 that, I don't know.
I mean, if they get if they can get everybody in the original cast, I guess, you know,
why not?
Everybody involved seems like they would be, you know, game for an.
Yeah, and Star Trek stuff is doing well. I don't know if you've been keeping up with Picard, and
I haven't, but I should.
People are on board with all new Star Trek at the moment. People are like, we love this now. You finally got it right. We fucking hate you, but thank you. It's Star Trek at the moment, Mason. Picard season 3 was really great.
Is it finished?
Yeah, I'll talk about it more in what we're reading. I might do a little bit of spoilers for who the bad guys are and whatever, but really good. And look, I'm not a massive fan of that series or whatever, but I loved all the callbacks, and it's just you watch it and you go like, oh, it just should have been this,
right?
Why hasn't it been this? But it sets up some stuff for the future and whatever.
Why did they attempt something new? I wanted the old stuff that I sort of remember, even though I don't.
Well,
really.
It wasn't even like I love the idea of like what's old Picard up to, but this kind of did that, and in addition, it's like
he was working at Picard's Vineyards.
He was, yeah.
That's when he was having a lovely time in his retirement.
Certainly was, wasn't he? But in this, it's funny because in this season, he's like, "What was I even thinking with that vineyard thing?" There's like a scene where he's like, "I was just gonna get old and die. I'm a fucking idiot."
Now I'm immortal in this positronic robot body.
No, Mason, it ages at the rate of a regular Picard.
Yeah, but he could get a new one, couldn't he? He could just get a new one.
No, he can get a new one as long as Patrick Stewart is alive.
That is actually true, isn't it?
But it is setting up for like they've probably scanned everybody's heads and voices so they can continue this forever. I wouldn't be surprised if they work in like, I don't know when, but like original Star Trek and they blend that into Strange New Worlds or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
They do all that at some point, but you know.
They're like, William Shatner, can you come in and we'll scan your head for these movies? And he's like, I looked out into the void. I went into space and I looked in the void and the void looked back. It's changed my whole life. And they're like, ooh, we could probably do without Shatner, actually.
Yeah. We'll give you like $100,000.
Okay, I'm back in. Anyway, Galaxy Quest. I'd probably be interested in seeing a limited series.
Yes, I think that's...
I think, I think maybe the issue would be that everybody is always quite busy and... What the issue would be is that maybe not everybody's available for every episode and you have to sort of patch over that.
Like that Arrested Development season 4.
Exactly. That's sort of what I'm thinking about. Yeah. And you know, maybe they would have to, you know, explain, you know, I'm sure there'd be a few...
like not all of them are crazy busy though, are they? Like they seem to be doing things that they like doing.
That's true.
Like you look like Tim Allen comes out every now and then to do a Santa Claus and whatever he recently did. Yeah. And Sam Rockwell only does like indie movies where he's a racist farmer or something.
That's true, yes.
You know, so.
That's true. Maybe look, best case scenario, they're all back in. All right, great. That's great.
I love Sam Rockwell.
He's pretty good, isn't he?
I wish he was here instead of you.
Yeah, me too. Where would I be? Living a Hollywood lifestyle?
In a bin, probably.
Just outside, just wandering up and down the street. Yeah.
Just kicking rock. Sam Rockwell, come here, take over my podcast.
Like Sam Rock, not so well.
Speaking of Star Trek.
You have a nice time, Sam Rockwell, doing a podcast?
Paramount Plus are going to do a movie.
Anyway, do you need a lift? Do you need a lift back to your hotel? Okay.
Is going to Paramount Plus doing a movie event titled Section 31 starring Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, so Section 31 is like the Black Ops division of Starfleet.
Okay. So this was going to be a series, and I'd heard from a very reliable source that they'd cancelled it like a long time ago before it was kind of clear that it was cancelled. And then Michelle Yeoh won an Oscar.
Ah, yes.
And then they went, do you want to do a series properly? And she went, no. And then said, do you want to do a movie? And she's like, yes, that's easier,
that's
actually.
Terrific. Okay,
so
great.
Cool, why not? Why not do Star Trek?
Did you see the trailer for American Born Chinese?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Which looks pretty interesting, right? But it's Michelle Yeoh and Kei, how are we pronouncing that?
Ki Hui Kwan, I believe.
Yeah. There we go, yeah. They're re-teaming in a sort of a multiversal adventure. So
yeah, could be pretty cool.
Could be cool.
And it's set in a high school also. There's high school shenanigans and dramas mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Wedgies and being stuffed in a locker and so forth.
Oh, me, that was a cool teen watching Galaxy Quest, as you very much recall, Mason.
That's true.
Yeah, so there you go. More Star Trek all of the time. I wonder whether they'll make another cinematic movie at some point. Probably not. Or maybe they'll build all this out and then do a movie.
I wonder if they're following the Star Wars method, which is just just TV all the time now and no movies.
Oh, Star Wars are doing all movies now. Remember they said they were going to do movies? It was on the news.
Oh, the real news, not podcast news.
No, real news.
Okay, that's great.
Real newsman. So there you go. Trailers ahoy, Mason. We've got Fast X and Kong, Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire.
What do you want to do first?
Let's do Fast X.
Okay.
So we got a new trailer. They got Jason Momoa wants to blow up the Vatican or something.
That's right. Yeah.
And he's having a good.
That's just a tiny part of his full scheme.
No, I think that's the end.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. Like aside from everybody, like a bunch of people getting hurt, the Vatican could go.
What about all the treasures, James?
The stuff that they stole?
The ill-gotten gains, yes.
All the ill-gotten gains
Yeah,
and things that and the things that they've built off the back of like poor people and all that.
Yeah, all that stuff, yeah.
And the entire Vatican is like built on top of like a pagan like church. From,
all that. Yeah.
What about all that?
What about all that?
It's fine.
It is fine.
I've been to the Vatican. It's pretty good, I guess.
I've also been to the Vatican.
If you want to see a bunch of shit. So,
I did.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Successful day.
That's what I'm saying. I actually went under the Vatican, to where all the old pagan stuff is. They let me in.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they just?
I said, let me in.
Huh.
And I said, all right. Anyway, so it's funny because John Cena's in this, and I just thought of this. So he goes from John Mina to John Cena, and I wonder what pipeline How you got on that pipeline?
That's something I said earlier, but I without my delightful context, it's not as good as it could have been. I think.
I
I think you
I've
wasted
written
that.
it here. So either you said it and I wrote it down and I said it here, or it's just something I wrote like probably ages ago.
Ages ago. How far back?
Oh,
You reckon?
you can't tell with Google Docs. So, you know.
I think you can.
Maybe not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I could probably Control Z back, but who's got the time to figure that out? Anyway, what do you think about that? How he's just playing John Cena now.
Yeah, it's good. I think that's great.
It's a good observation of mine.
No games.
But he is just. You did say that.
Yeah, he's just turned into he's just gone from this vengeful character in the previous, but now he's just high fiving Dom's
Children
kid and whatever, and being like, "Well, I mean, I say that based on one scene, but my favorite.
I mean, Statham saved a baby.
That's true.
Remember that time?
Probably to make up for all the babies he killed in that hospital.
In the hospital, yeah.
But I mean, the other thing that I picked up on is there's a moment where
I probably got a note on this. It's where Han shows up to Jason Statham's hideout, and he's looking very sheepish.
He's looking quite sheepish.
That's
a good observation you thought of. I'm turning it back on you. I'm just hoping I'll do that and you'll not like it all of a sudden.
Yeah. But no, yeah, you're right. It's
You're sure? Hello, sure.
Is he scared? Is he feeling guilty?
It's just an odd reaction to put in the trailer, I thought.
Because he wasn't really. Is he feeling guilty because he wasn't in that car?
Yeah.
That exploded.
Sorry, you wasted explosives.
Because that kicked off a couple movies, didn't it? Or
That's
something
true.
from that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Jason Statham went on that journey.
Yeah.
So for Caravan of Garbage, we're covering 4 of the Fast movies. We already covered the first 3, so we're going 4 to 7.
That's right.
We're working our way through them at the moment. I don't know, man. These have definitely lost something.
I feel you've had a lot of enthusiasm up until this last trailer, and then before we started recording, you were like, "Oh, I don't know, man."
I mean, I don't know. They're clearly very particularly manicured vanity projects.
Sure.
And whereas before there was a slickness and a funness to them.
Right.
That
is this because you've just watched
now.
5?
I just watched 5, and it's amazing. And I don't know. I mean, I hope it's good because who wants to see a bad? I would also love it to be terribly fun and interesting. And then I feel like the last few movies haven't even been that. They just feel.
You know what I enjoy about this? In the previous trailer, if you recall, there was a moment where Dom's in his magic car. And it gets shot with 2 harpoons from helicopters, and then he drives off a freeway overpass, and the helicopters crash together. There's a scene at the end of this trailer where he's in his same magic car, and 2 fuel trucks are driving at him from opposite directions, and he just dives out of the way, and he GoldenEye rappels down the side of a dam in his magic car. And is it just him escaping death in this very specific way the entire movie?
In his magic car.
I like the idea that perhaps there's a certain point in this movie where after which he just doesn't get out of the car. He's just in the car for the rest of the movie. And there's scenes where they're all together. Maybe
they're at a barbecue.
Yeah, and he's still in the car.
He's on the tongs on the bar with his arm out the window.
They're in an underground garage discussing their strategy, and they're all sitting around, and he's just still in the car.
Yeah, it's like Howard Hughes not leaving his hotel or whatever.
Yes,
but it's him in his magic car.
Oh my god,
that's great stuff. They also announced the director of the final movie in this particular saga.
Is it Vin Diesel?
No, Mason, it's Louis Leterrier who directed this one.
And the Transporter movies.
And some of the Transporter movies, probably not the reboot at the very least. I think I think he's a good choice for these movies, but I don't know who controls these movies really at this point.
Vin Diesel.
Yeah, it's Vin Diesel and studio
and those
notes.
bloody money men.
That's right, but I'm excited for more Fast and Furious, and I'm currently working my way through Fast and Furious Crossroads so we can play it.
Great, I love
that. For Never Go Back on Big Sandwich Mason.
Mia cops an elbow to the head in this trailer.
That's awesome.
Pretty brutal.
Isn't that awesome?
No, I don't like it.
You don't like it?
Nah.
You told me it was awesome. That was one of my notes that you said before the show. I guess you got me though, didn't you?
That's true, I did.
You son of a bitch. Anything else on this one, or do you want to move on to?
No, let's move on. I think
Kong X Skull Island.
Yes,
3 or whatever we're at. What are we at with this? So this is just a teaser because they're still in the early days of making this. But this epic new film will delve further into this is just me saying it.
Oh, yeah.
Delve into the histories of these titans.
Just off the top of the dome?
Yeah,
You reckon?
This is what I reckon. Their origins and the mysteries of Skull Island and beyond, but while uncovering the mythic battle that helped forge these extraordinary beings and tied them to humankind forever. So that's cool. I mean, they say forever, but there's only one King Kong left.
Seems that way.
So when he goes...
Unless there's more, because there's this new guy, clearly. So in the teaser...
Oh, wait, is this a new King Kong? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying, so in the trailer...
Yeah.
It's some sort of orangutan...
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's an orangutan. You should watch it again. It's like 2 seconds long.
I'm busy, Mason.
Okay.
All right,
That's an orangutan, clearly.
Is it?
I'm assuming he's giant. He's got the glowing Godzilla eyes.
Okay.
He's got the... and then it sort of pans, and there's like all these dead kaiju, and then there's the skulls of Godzilla and Kong.
Yeah,
So
no,
what's
that
going
I
on?
saw, yeah.
Yeah, okay, you did say that.
Yeah, man.
So this seems to be... Is this guy another refugee from Skull Island?
Is he actually teeny tiny?
That's a great question. Maybe that's the key here. Maybe the giant kaiju were not enough to defeat Godzilla and Kong.
I've clicked on one of those trailers that's not a real trailer. You mean you click on a thing and you're like... Oh.
No, I always click the correct thing. So.
Oh, yeah, he's got a long arm. He's got a big long arm.
He does have a big long arm, yes.
So what does that mean?
I don't know, James.
It's just good.
I had to look quickly to see if...
There's a big long arm one?
No, I did. I had to look quickly to see if the planet, the Legendary is now being distributed by somebody else. Because, they were having they were going to have a break from Warner Brothers because they had a real tiff over distribution and stuff like that. And I was
because they took their movie and just put it onto streaming.
Yes, exactly.
One, yeah.
So I was wondering if maybe this would be a Planet of the Apes crossover somehow.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because, I mean, that was just my first instinct.
Tiny apes versus big ape.
But Legendary is still being distributed through Warner Brothers, so it isn't.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. It's got Dan Stevens, Rebecca Hall, Brian.
Dan Stevens, that's good.
I know, Brian Tyree Henry. Was he in the last one? Some kind of podcasting weirdo or something?
He was a podcasting weirdo, that's right.
Where's Carl Chandler? Where's Carl Chandler, Mason?
That's a great question, James. I don't know.
Where's Carl Chandler?
He's probably riding high off he's in his mansion, riding high off the cash of Godzilla v. Kong or whatever.
That's true.
The last one was. If, in fact, he was in the last one.
Where's everybody's dad, Carl Chandler? Remember there was an elevator?
Where's Millie Bobby Brown?
Exactly.
Where's she in this?
God damn it. There's a title. I just Googled it and I can't find anything about him but in this movie, but I found a headline from Vulture that says, from 2021, it says, what the hell is Kyle Chandler doing in Godzilla vs. Kong?
Great.
What the hell are you doing, Kyle Chandler?
Great question, Vulture. You're asking the hard questions there.
I agree.
Disgraceful that he is in it. This is what a disgrace.
What was he thinking? This next bit of news, Mason, comes from Collider.
Okay. Just before we go on to that, what do you think the plot is here? What's going on? They're going back to Skull Island?
Yeah, and there's going to be some secret things they have to fight.
Like a big orangutan?
Yeah, maybe. But that's probably one of them. One of the secret things. There's also an inside-out world inside the planet or whatever.
Yeah, do we go back to that well, I guess is my question.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. Where else would you go? Space.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a good movie, that last one, for what it was.
I should revisit it, I guess.
Because they were like, yeah, we're wrapping this up. And then it did well. It was one of the few ones that went to streaming and movies that somehow made money.
Yeah.
And they went, oh, do people like this? Do you like this? We can do more if you want.
Do you think this one is going to stray more into grounded reality, or do you think it's going to go more into the Mecha Godzilla?
That stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I reckon it might be a bit more grounded.
I think it'll be more kind of Kong Skull Island-y, kind of like more focus on kaijus and weird monsters than sci-fi tech stuff. So in that sense. And then they'll go to space.
Okay, great.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Just like...
There's only enough material to make 2 really, really big spacesuits.
They have to fight the moon. They have to knock the moon out of the sky because it's a kaiju or something.
I like scientist who has to trail off.
I know, so he's leaving the room. Something...
Just put him in the spacesuits.
I'm on break.
Somebody else's job. Yeah, I got 15 minutes.
It's by Collider in regards to the Transformers animated movie, which I think is coming out next year.
Okay.
This is producer Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, who's
sounds familiar as a name.
Did a bunch of these and whatever and other stuff. This is what the story and movie will be. We debated a lot about it in live action, and it was just financially impossible to do, which is the origin story of young Megatron and young Optimus. If you know the origin,
They were pals for a bit?
Yeah, they started as friends, and over time things developed for them, and they ended up on two sides.
They started as mates, and then they're going to punch for a bit. And by a bit, I mean 3 to 4 million years.
We are really telling the origin story of all Transformers, both what they were at the beginning of it, how they grow, and how they grow apart.
Okay, right.
We're hoping that there is enough emotional construct to that, and then it would lead to a trilogy of it, because personally I think that there's a natural trilogy. I'm not always looking to do multiple movies, but there's a natural trilogy about their relationship, around their relationship, whatever. So you're going to see...
No, not whatever, James. These are very important to a certain subset of people.
That's true. So you're going to see Cybertron...
A certain subspecies of people. A certain subclass of people, of which I include myself.
We're in that, yeah. So you're going to see Cybertron in a way you've never seen it. That's
slimy.
No one's ever seen before.
Before it was metal, when it was all flesh.
No. And because we're doing animation, we're allowed to go really all out. If you tried to do this in live action, it'd probably be $1 billion movie or something. Whoa. That's true. That's the beauty of animation. It's basically free.
It's free.
You can
do
crunch
anything.
People
unlimited budget. They're loving it.
Years.
Does it say what kind of animation?
No. I'm hoping it's like, I don't think it'd be like the detail of like the Bumblebee movie.
Right.
Remember the bit at the start where they showed Cybertron? Mm-hmm. Makes me mad, Mason.
What if cell shaded animation? What if?
Whatever. I don't know. I like this.
Yeah,
I like this story. This is the stuff I've been wanting to see.
Right.
Like forever. I don't care about anybody in this franchise.
And I've seen people on the internet go, oh, we've actually seen this origin. I mean, you have if you've read some deep dive comic books.
Depending on the different versions, like they've touched on it in different animations and whatever, but I don't care.
Okay.
Show me this thing.
Yeah.
What do you think about the voice actors? Do you think they're going to get do you think they should recast? Because I think maybe they should at this point.
Some young voices.
Yeah. I'm not saying you wouldn't like stray too far from like that kind of voice style.
Yeah, right.
But I just think you
got beef against Peter Cullen and
not
Frank
at all.
Welker.
I think he's great, but I think also they're getting old and like it's okay. Like he can still do it in the movies.
It's okay, buddy.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Never lie down.
We're gonna put you down.
But he's still going to be in the Bumblebee movies or whatever they're doing at the moment. Which apparently that new one's. There was a rumor that this week that it was a mess or something, and they're trying to different re-edits of it. The new one, the new Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
Yeah, right.
But it doesn't matter for us because we're going to see it regardless because we have to.
Even if it's very bad.
Yep. Especially if it's very bad.
So if I remember correctly, Megatron's origin, he's some sort of
he's a gladiator.
He's in a Cybertronian gladiator pits, and Optimus is some sort of scholarly
clerk,
nerd.
Yeah.
Orion Pax, I think his name is. And then he's transformed by the power of the Matrix and is turned into Optimus Prime.
Must be nice.
Yeah, it must be nice.
Get a bloody hand up like that.
That's right.
Must be nice, Optimus Prime.
Liberal elite.
Fucking academics.
That's right.
Think they're better than me.
Yeah. I have to pay $8 a month to get to look at the matrix of leadership. You get it for free, eh? That's great. It must be good for you, mate. It's good for you. Think you're better than me. I don't know who this guy is. I think he's just another guy in the office.
Maybe a Quintesson.
It might be a Quintesson.
Yeah. So that's cool. I like Transformers. And if you didn't know it, it's got a pretty surprisingly good lore.
Yeah, that's true.
behind it, which they have not done in the movies at all.
Well, I mean, they've done bits of the comic book continuity is often different from like the animated continuity and all this sort of stuff. And I think the when they made the live action
that's because that show is bad. It's a bad show. It's a bad show, Mason. It's a kid show, which is fine.
Yeah.
But is it a good show, Mason?
No, the movie's pretty good though.
Yeah, the movie's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, this Transformers fandom says that Orion Pax was a dock worker.
Oh.
You can do both.
I thought he was a nerd.
Maybe he's a dock worker and he's going to TAFE. He's getting his tertiary certificate.
Makes sense,
in the business administration.
Maybe
business and Energon administration.
Sure.
Certificate 3.
Energon stacking.
That's right.
Great stuff, Mason. Anything Transformers related, or will we do the last bit of news?
Let's do the last bit of news.
Star Wars news, actually.
Oh, man. Let's find some more Transformers news.
We can't, Mason. This is by the Hot Pike podcast.
Soundwave has been cancelled. Some recordings.
Yep. Well, he's of a certain era. And,
he is, isn't he? That's right.
He's going to catch up with you, so that's how it goes.
And it's in many ways, it's his fault for recording them all.
Yeah, what an idiot.
Yeah.
God, what a nerd. John Boyega has apparently buried the hatchet with Kathleen Kennedy, if you can believe that. And the rumor is this via John Roker and Jeff Snyder that he's going to be joining the Rey Skywalker movie that's coming out, the New Jedi Order. And apparently Daisy Ridley is going to be utilized in more of a Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi mentor capacity.
Okay.
You know, because she's really old now.
Yeah.
32 or whatever it is. It's disgusting, quite frankly. And so that's some of the direction they're going with this new thing. It's. I wonder though, at a point, do you just go, "This is episode 10"? Do you think there's going to be any kind of like reveal that like, yeah, this is 10. This is 10. Actually.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sure. I mean, it counts as 10 if it's got movie characters.
But if they call it something different, then it's not. 10.
Then it's not 10. That's right.
Yeah. So that's something to think about. Yeah, you must be pretty embarrassed that you just said that. But I saw like,
and he said Ray, Ray, and I said what? Finn, what? And he said Ray.
I'm doing a big fight.
I'm quite busy now, actually. Finn, Finn.
Ray.
Anyway.
Good movie.
No, I disagree.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Do you want me to put the kettle on? I'm quite busy. Quite busy. Doing a big fight.
Do you think they're going to do the staff for Ray? Like,
I hope so.
Because we sort of saw that at the end of the last movie. She's got a yellow lightsaber. All the different lightsaber colors, they mean something, I think, Mason. One's a guard and one's a whatever. One's a smart guy, whatever. They mean different things. Apparently. Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
There's like different, I don't know whether they've worked all of that stuff into the new stuff. But
so do you have to factor that in? Like when you're filling in the form for a lightsaber license, do you have to prove you're a smart guy in order to build a smart guy? Because I feel you could just build a smart guy lightsaber.
No, you got to pass a test. You got to pass a test and probably run through a canyon and do a flip or whatever.
You could be a non-smart guy and do that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So like they test your aptitude and whatever, and then they give you the color at the end or whatever. So that's.
I don't think any of that's true.
It's all true and real.
I think it's fictional.
No, you don't know. It's happened a while ago, so you don't remember, but it's all real. Listen, I saw this John Boyega. I saw if this is like people were like, why would he go back and do this after the way they treated him or whatever? Well, if the story's good and he's happy with that, because I know he's talked openly about like, yeah, it's kind of sucks how he just ruined my character on the back end of that. So if he gets to do more of that and he gets money, why wouldn't you do this?
That's true.
So who cares?
Yeah.
And as always with Star Wars, some of it's bad and some of it's good, and we're just going to keep moving forward. All right?
That's right, yes.
And eventually you'll hit something that you like, okay? It's got to happen eventually.
That's right. Or they run out of money.
Well, yeah, that's definitely going to happen. A couple of quick things before we get into the Evil Dead thing, Mason.
Time for a couple of quick things.
First of all, the first reactions for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 have come out. And guess what they're saying?
Pretty good.
It's the best movie since The Dark Knight, they said.
My God. There's been so many movies since then.
But this is the best one. That's happened, and maybe even will happen until the next one.
Okay.
So, again, people are saying it's maybe even the best of the trilogy, et cetera, and so forth. Now, seeing as James Gunn made this, doesn't surprise me that this will probably just end up being, at the very minimum, a good movie.
Agreed.
But again, early days and whatever, and press get to see it, and everyone gets excited and whatever.
We never get excited.
We've never been excited.
That's our strength. That's our skill.
There's only one thing I'm excited for, and it's the new Indiana Jones movie.
Thank you. That's what I say.
To Indiana Jones, you shooting me down. You're trying to shoot down my excitement of that movie yet again, Mason. Being a hater, you cannot quell my thirst for new Indiana Jones, Mason.
James, I am a hater, as you know, but I'm not a hater for Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but you are. Because every time I bring it up, you're like, oh, you're an idiot. You don't know. Do you remember Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? That's you.
No, that's unrelated, though. I do say that. I do go, but I think back in the larger context, whenever you bring anything up, I'm like,
Yeah, okay.
You don't know anything, you're dumb.
Well, that is true, but all I'm saying is...
Don't you remember the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I say? You're like, I'm thinking of cutting down on carbs, and I'm like, don't you know anything? Don't you remember the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
And then I don't cut back on carbs.
That's right.
Anyway, this one, you cannot stop me being excited. I'm sick of
excited.
it. Shut up, Mason.
I can't stop you being excited because that's not a real word.
I'm so excited.
That's not a thing you can be.
I'm not thinking properly because I'm so excited about how good it's definitely going to be. I don't need you. I don't need your support.
Now, do you have any news here about this, or are you just saying?
It's just, apparently it's very good.
Okay, great.
No, Guardians. Yeah, is my point. And the official runtime is 2 hours and 29 minutes.
Okay.
The other thing is we got a week between this week and the week after, which is Guardians. So next episode,
I think you'll find we always have a week between this week and the week after.
Not always. So, and we thought we'd squeeze in a versus episode.
That's right.
And for those of you who don't know,
The Superhero Showdown.
That's right. We haven't done one in a while, but we've been doing them for years, where basically people write in with two characters. They can be fictional or real people. Doesn't matter, whatever. And the idea is that they appear on different sides of a standard-sized American football field and they fight to the death. Or if they're non-lethal, they go non-lethal and whatever. There was a particular twist on this one, I believe, this time as well.
Oh, we're thinking about doing. I think somebody suggested.
Yes.
If I had it written down, I would credit them. But
You'll find that before next
I don't
week.
have it right. Don't have it written down, so I'm gonna take credit for it.
Speak from the heart.
I think we're going to do different characters portrayed by the same actor.
Yeah.
I think versus.
So you might be like Bruce Willis from Die Hard versus Bruce Willis in Death Becomes Her, where he's a plastic
absolutely,
surgeon.
yeah,
You
yeah.
might do something like that.
That's right. Yeah.
The Bruce Willis from Die Hard would shoot that guy though. Like
Yeah, oh, yeah.
immediately, and just
Yeah.
bang, he's dead and whatever. But that's the kind of fun we can have with it.
That's absolutely right.
And there might be an additional wrinkle to it as well, which I have talked about, but maybe we'll reveal that.
We're bringing the actors in. Don't know how we're going to manage it. This is the worst possible time to do that. Logistically, very difficult.
I feel like at the very least we could get Daniel Craig.
I think so too. Yeah.
So there you go.
Rachel Weisz has the kids.
Yep.
We'll bring him in
Oh, maybe I wouldn't mind Rachel Weisz though, because then she could talk about like her character from The Mummy.
versus her character from Black Widow.
Exactly.
We'd have to remind her who her character from Black Widow is. Probably.
Yes, that's right.
She was Russian. She was a spy. I think
Yeah,
she'd be
yeah,
like, I don't know.
She was sort of
Did
a
I do
mum.
that for Apple TV? She would say, and we'd be like, no, you did it for. Is that the movies? She'd be like, was
But
it?
it went to streaming as
Yeah,
well,
yeah, yeah.
so you could.
She's
see-
in a Dead Ringers TV series.
Yes,
Did you see that?
which is a remake of. Was Jeremy Irons?
Jeremy Irons
Was the
played
original
two,
Dead Ringer?
two twin brothers. Yeah,
That's great stuff.
it is great stuff.
So yeah, that will be next week unless something happens.
Yeah.
As in something else comes out or one of us dies.
yeah, or both of us die,
Yeah, maybe.
or none of us die, but we're tired.
That's also a possibility. Yeah, so there we go. Let's move it forward though, Mason, because I want to talk about evil. Oh, you can hashtag weeklyplanetpod those.
James is going to talk about evil.
Yeah.
James has got a new segment where he just talks about the nature of evil.
Got so many things to suggest, evil things to do,
right.
evil deeds. Hashtag weeklyplanetpod on Twitter, and I'll have a look. There'll probably be someone will put one in the Reddit, the Weekly Planet Reddit, and there'll be a post in Planet Broadcasting, and we'll just pick some,
Nice. I love picking some.
but not all.
No, all.
Okay, we'll do all.
No, we can't. We don't have time.
We'll do some,
We'll do some.
but maybe all.
Or none.
We might do none.
Because we might be dead.
We might be
We
dead.
might both be dead.
That's right. Because of evil. Speaking of, Mason,
Oh, yes.
Evil Dead Rise
Whoa.
has hit cinemas. And the fun thing about this is it's the 5th Evil Dead movie, but there's also a TV show. That's fun. You know what else
True.
is fun?
What else is fun?
Instead of being number 1 at cinemas, it's actually number 2 this week. Do you know what it's number 1
Mario
is?
Brothers.
It's still Mario,
Still
yes.
Mario Brothers.
Which makes sense because this is an R-rated movie
Yeah.
and it's an Evil Dead movie and there's just people getting their faces like torn off and whatever. So I can understand why you might not want to take somebody who was like a child or whatever to this.
Yeah,
or you're a
yeah.
bit squeamish.
Unless you want to toughen them up.
Yeah. You want to toughen them up, which I'm pretty sure that doesn't work. But you could.
I'm not saying you want to succeed in toughening them up. You just want
You
to
want that.
You want to toughen them up.
Yeah. And this is a good way to see if that works.
Which it doesn't. But give it a try. maybe your kid's built different. You know what I
Maybe.
mean?
That
Yeah.
happens.
Maybe your kid's like, I want to see Mario Brothers, and you're like, yeah, well, you're familiar with the Deadites.
You will be.
That's right.
On a
You
budget.
want to think about nothing but the Deadites for the next 5 years?
On a budget of $15 million. This has
Really?
pretty good, right?
Pretty good, yeah.
And the box office it seems to be in the opening weekend in the US is going to be around 23 million.
Okay.
This is doing well, especially for something like this. It's a good opening for it's a niche kind of series of movies that
Yeah.
I think the most successful one is the last one 10 years ago, which made something like, I can't remember, I think it had like a $55-60 million total.
Okay, right,
Which
right,
is
right.
great. For
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
this, you low budget it and, you know.
Yeah. But I feel like also the Evil Dead franchise, it probably has a good brand recognition within the horror genre. Like the horror fandom are probably like...
Definitely.
I imagine even if you don't love all of the stuff,
Yeah.
maybe if you didn't like the TV series or you thought Army of Darkness was too silly or, you know, you thought the last one was too mean or whatever you thought.
God, that was a mean movie. It's a mean-ass movie,
I think
Mason.
you probably just like generally like it's like Star Wars in the sense that there's brand recognition and some
Yep.
some of it you have fond memories and you go, I'm willing to give this a try
Yep.
probably. So
And-
wouldn't surprise me if this one surpasses the
Totally.
previous one.
And I think also, well, we'll talk about this, but there's talk about what's going to happen in the future of this franchise, which we'll do non-spoilers and then spoilers, and then I'll talk
We'll
about
spoil the
that,
heck out of this thing.
a little bit. So yeah, the last one, made $54 million in 2013, which is actually the only one that I've seen other than this new one.
Interesting.
I also think the reason like this might do well is call it Evil Dead Rise. It seems, even if you don't know what that is, you're like, sure.
Sounds
You know, I
fun.
like horror movies this good as any. I meant to watch all the other ones leading up and I didn't get the time, Mason. But that's not to say that I won't revisit them at some point before my death, before next week's episode.
Hey, terrific.
Anyway.
Well, James, you got a lot of stuff to get through. You got to prepare for your own death. You got to take your kids to Evil Dead Rise again.
Yeah, man, I really do.
You know.
Got to toughen them up before I'm out the door.
That's right.
From down in hell.
But I would say you probably don't need to see any of the previous ones. I
Definitely
think it might
not.
enhance the.
Well, I feel like there's definitely things in this where I'm like, I have some knowledge of this, and I bet that's something that and some of that stuff I looked up that I would recognize. Some of the lines I definitely recognize.
Oh yeah.
One in particular, which I thought, that feels weird.
Yes.
Like an out of place.
There is a sequence that I think is quite. It is fan service.
Is it the chainsaw bit?
Yes. But I think generally speaking, this isn't super lore heavy.
No.
And I think
And the
all-
law that there is, it explains.
it's sort of it's well contained, I think.
Yeah. Is this you telling us what you think the story was?
Oh man. All right, so
I hate to break your concentration.
all right, so
Yep.
there's a big happy family. They live in a little house, don't they?
In a building.
In a
They
building.
live in an apartment.
They live in an apartment building.
Yeah.
And the mum's estranged sister comes into town. She's like,
He goes, boo.
exactly. It's like I've been in a big rock and roll band.
I think she's a
guitar
roadie.
tech. Shit.
Yeah. Go on.
She's a guitar tech. It's different, James.
I don't think it is. Go on. It's the same.
And then they're like, well, we're dealing with some real family back and forth and bloody.
This is the worst thing that's going to happen today.
That's right. We're certainly reconnecting, but of course that's difficult, isn't it? I certainly hope the Deadites don't show up, but they do. You know.
And you made a really good, you know what? I made a really good comparison because we talked about this last night when we saw each other in the city for the comedy festival, Mason. That there is an aliens comparison to be made here.
Yeah.
And I'm only going to allow you to elaborate on my good point.
Thanks, man. Now, if I recall correctly, what you said was that in times past, especially in movies like Army of Darkness,
Yeah.
the Deadites sort of became cannon fodder.
Yes.
When aliens sort of transformed the genre from one monster to just an endless swarm of monsters, and it just became kind of a shooting gallery. As enjoyable as that was, I think, especially,
I think it's good for that one.
Yeah,
But then
right.
past that, it's like.
But I think, if your biggest memory, and I think for a lot of people it might be, is Army of Darkness, where the Deadites were just this sort of endless
Horde of
horde of
whatever.
cannon fodder.
Yeah.
The scariness of that.
A singular.
Yeah, Deadite is sort
Entity.
of is not scary anymore. It's funny, if anything.
Yeah.
We've got Ash Williams with his shotgun and his chainsaw just cutting a swath
Yeah.
through all of them. And this one, I think,
This is like your alien isolation,
yes, it's exactly
which
like
is a
that.
point I made last night and also again now.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Well done. Well played.
But go on.
Sometimes I think you're dumb, but then some of the things you've said, just out of the blue,
Yeah.
are smart, like you got them from somewhere else.
Yeah, but I don't. I
That's
don't get it.
great.
I just think of them.
That's great,
Yeah.
man. That's good. If only we can harness that. Well, I think maybe we should do something to your brain so you can do that all the time.
Mason, I'll be dead by this time next week. So
Thank God. Anyway, but I think there is essentially the house is invaded by one Deadite entity.
Yeah.
And that is it sort of becomes this sort of this hostage situation, this kind of they're being stalked by this creature, and I think that's in this apartment block.
Yeah.
But mostly in like one apartment or like a hallway.
Yeah.
But they do a lot with that budget, I think, that small budget you mentioned.
definitely.
And it feels it's very, very tense, I thought, and very effective in that way.
Completely agree. I think the cast is really terrific.
Mm-hmm,
A lot of either new faces or faces that you wouldn't like see
Right. Uh-huh.
everywhere. Like I recognize like a few people that are in this, but I really I think it was cast really well and that family dynamic works really well. So when one of them is in peril, Like you're like, oh, that I like that one. And there's nobody in this family that you don't like where you're like, good.
I like the fact that like the clearly the two sisters are like they're quite alternative, like indie in different ways, and they've both gone off and lived different lives. And so the mum, she's got 3 kids, and they're all sort of gone. They're like alt kind of gothy in their own kind of ways. They're all they've all sort of learned from the mum, and they're sort of rebelling in a way that's but she accepts that.
Yeah,
like
because she's a tattoo artist or something.
She's a tattoo artist, yeah. But the kids are like, one kid's really into like DJing, and there's like an artistic kid, and there's the little kid who hasn't, she's too little to have a personality yet.
But still, no. But she makes stuff. She makes a little thing.
That's true. Yeah.
Which comes into
she makes
play
scary
later.
little like she made a scary little doll.
Yeah,
because she believes the building is haunted.
I really like the grubby building that they're in. So it's going to be demolished in like a month from when this movie takes place, and I think that it feels like a kind of BioShock-esque kind of
right. It probably looks quite nice in the daytime, James.
I'm sure it does. But I mean in the sense that like it feels lived in and of like a particular era and and it's run down but also kind of beautiful at the same time. I think that the whole design of that is quite great. And even though it is set in like mostly in the building or mostly in like a couple of rooms, it doesn't it's a feeling of claustrophobia and being trapped, but it doesn't feel like small in scale or storytelling, even though obviously it is a smaller story. But if you look at like the Evil Dead movies or the one that I've seen and what I know of the others, except for like 3, they're mostly like set in a cabin or one location, right? I should watch that series though, right? Well, the Ash versus the Evil Dead.
I quite liked it.
So what is that compared to like this? What are we...
It's more of it leans towards more of a Buffy kind of.
Okay.
It's a bit more gruesome Buffy. It's got Bruce Campbell. It's got Lucy Lawless is in it.
Cool.
And it's kind of it's just sort of a, I didn't watch every season of it. I think there was 4 seasons. I watched the first couple, and it's
That's amazing that went for 4 seasons.
Isn't it though?
Yeah.
Maybe
I think Sam Raimi directed I think because we looked this up recently, like, what's Sam Raimi? He hasn't directed something in a while before he did the new Marvel movie or whatever. And he was just doing the Evil Dead TV show.
Yeah.
For years.
But that's it's more of a think of it. It's more like an episodic
3 series.
Yeah. It's more of an episodic kind of comedy.
And there's also
horror.
been a number of video games as well, or at least 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I know there was one in like 2005. I want to say, which is cool, Mason. What else?
But yeah, this feels very much like, I wouldn't say it's a new direction, but I think it sort of quite effectively ties together all the various aspects of this. There's some of it's funny. It's definitely gruesome.
Definitely.
How did you feel about that?
Yeah, I think it's gruesome, but it's not like horrific, gory, like unpleasant. There's like, I don't know there's a line here which I think it's like it sticks to really well, where they show just enough of something and you get a feel of it. Like there's a moment where a character like eats a wine glass. Yeah, right. And it's like, like there's little moments like that.
Yeah.
There's a cheese grater bit, which is
I think what what it gets really right, I think, is that sort of visceral element that you can believe in, kind of thing. Like if it's like, okay, demons are here and they're, if you watch a movie and it's like, the demons and they shoot fire and they burn people alive or whatever, and or they're here to bring you to eternal damnation, or they rip somebody's head off or whatever. Like the classic, bit of a decapitation. I'm like, I don't believe in that. But like there's a scene in this movie where somebody has an earring in and it gets whipped out downwards. And I'm like, oh, that's a thing that could happen. Like that,
yeah, exactly.
Like that's a thing that can happen to your frail physical body where it's like, oh, that's one of the just an awful thing to have. Or like you said, the cheese grater moment where somebody gets a cheese grater whipped across the back of their leg, and I'm like, oh, you can do that accidentally in the kitchen, not on your leg.
But on something.
On something.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also the opening of this is cabin based. Which do you think? I mean, if you didn't know, you'd think it was going to go in like that direction. And I like that kind of cold open. I thought was like there's a pretty horrific like gory moment in that happens really quickly. That's like, I remember like going into this, it was weird because having seen the last one, which is I think the only one you haven't seen, is I was kind of like, it felt like I was seeing like a scary movie. Or a lot of time I went into like Scream and I'm like, this is fun and whatever. Whereas this is like, I just don't, like these make me a little bit uncomfortable in a good way though.
Right.
Like they're unsettling. And
would you say you'd probably need to, would you recommend people watch the previous one in preparation for this? Or do
I
you
don't think
it
you
matters?
need to. I mean, you should because I think it's good. But I would watch. I am going to watch all of them. I also really liked Alyssa Sutherland plays the mother who gets infected, and she was great because she does the dual roles of like a normal woman living in an apartment, and then has to do like the deadite.
Yeah.
Infection kind of situation.
The Exorcist style.
Yeah, and like the physicality of that and all that works really, really well. So apparently the Necronomicon in this is the third one.
Okay.
And each of these books have a different demon, I believe.
Oh, I see.
So in the Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell ones, that's all the one demon. So I was reading into this, I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
The Evil Dead in 2013, the reboot, which isn't really a reboot. It's the second book. That's another demon, and this is the third demon. And this book is apparently in the third movie.
Oh.
Apparently you see it or something.
The Army of Darkness?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. But there's multiple Necronomicon.
Right.
And different things happen. Like a different entity will pop out.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they all basically do the same kind of thing and they have the same abilities and whatever. But I know I like that idea of, and I also loved how, because you have to read from the book to unleash whatever the thing is.
I simply wouldn't read from the book.
Well, that's what they thought in this movie as well, Mason. I thought that was a clever...
But I do love playing records on my record player. So I suppose in this one instance,
yes,
I would not achieve the perfect outcome. Shame on me.
No, I agree. But I thought that, as opposed to going with the standard like, oh yeah, you read the book and whatever, which is fine. You can do that because you would read it. You'd find this book and go, oh, what's this? And you'd probably read it. I thought that was a really good...
Again, I simply wouldn't. But
you
okay.
wouldn't, but yeah, because you've seen some of these.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that was a good way to do it because it felt unique and it also gave you a history. Again, if you didn't know anything about this, but you know what the book does. So you're already kind of like terrified that somebody would do this, as it's kind of unfolding. I thought there were some good Easter eggs. Bruce Campbell has a voice role in this.
He does, that's true. We'll talk about that in spoiler, I think.
Yep. Yeah. There's a chainsaw in it, which is apparently the color scheme of Sam Raimi's car. Because Sam Raimi's car appears in all the Sam Raimi movies.
Yeah, the car he lost his virginity in, apparently.
Rad. Good for him. In the boot?
Yeah, in the boot. In the boot.
Oh
in the trunk of the car, James. That's right.
And there's a few lines that
I don't know if that's actually true. I read that on Twitter and I'm like, it seems
why not?
plausible.
Why not?
Yeah.
And there's the one line where I thought, there's a moment where one of the characters says, come get some. And it felt like
Duke Nukem.
It felt like Duke Nukem, but it's like, oh, that doesn't feel...
Yeah, true to the character.
Yeah, but whatever. Who cares? I had a really good time. All in all, before we do spoilers, best or worst movie ever?
I thought it was the best movie ever. I had a
Agreed
good
a lot.
time.
I agree.
Again, this is sort of, like, it seems to be more and more increasingly in our wheelhouse just because there are more horror movies coming out. But this felt, I don't know, this feels kind of different to some other horror movies we've seen recently, I think.
Scream,
certainly.
Scream 2.
I also think because
Scream 3.
Yeah, all those.
Scream 4.
No, it feels a lot like
Scream 5, which is just called Scream.
No, not like that.
Scream 6.
No, I don't like that at all.
You didn't like that one?
No, I did like it.
Oh, you did
but
like
I'm saying
it?
they're different.
Oh, you did like it?
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
No, you're right.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do some spoilers.
Okay.
They do The Shining in this.
They do a bit of The Shining,
except they're in the elevator when the doors open.
Yeah.
God, the blood was really like sticky
Viscous.
and like viscous and mucusy
Yeah.
quite gross. I thought there was going to be the revelation that the aunt who comes to visit, that at least one of those kids was actually hers.
How?
Well, because she's always, when she visits...
Oh, like maybe
is that
she had the
pregnant.
kid.
She had the kid and
left it.
Okay, because
right.
she's like, you're always looking after my messes and whatever. I thought that was going to be a revelation. I was surprised they just killed everybody.
Right?
Except for
I
the
thought more of the kids would survive, but I guess that's kind of, that you learn to, you like these kids and you hope they're safe, and then some don't make it out, and that makes it all the more stressful and thrilling for the rest of the movie, I guess, the rest of the runtime.
And I also liked, and I don't know whether this is strictly true in the other movies, because I think Bruce Campbell gets infected in one of them, but if you get like a bite or you're infected from this entity or whatever, you're done. Like it's over.
Well, it's a little bit vague.
I mean, in this one is a different Evil Dead monster.
True.
So I don't know.
Like in this instance as well, if you remember correctly, maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but when the Deadites infected the mum, she infects one of the other kids by just stabbing her with the tattoo needle.
And then licking her, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. Perfect. Then I wasn't remembering correctly.
You haven't remembered.
And I'm glad you called me out on it.
Yeah, it felt good.
And I apologize.
You should.
The one time I'll ever apologize. But yeah, I love the idea of that. You know, this is sort of a new beginning for this franchise if it does well.
Yeah,
and
which it
the,
seems to
and
be,
the
yeah.
idea that it's sort of it started again and the virus is kind of spreading fairly rapidly, even though they took the Deadite and they put them in the wood chipper and just just spattered them into.
Oh, as soon as I saw that wood chipper, I'm like,
somebody's getting
love
wood
it,
chipped.
good.
Yeah, that's right.
Always love it. It's
Yeah.
never disappointing.
That's right.
Yeah.
But even though they were turned into fragments.
God, whenever I see those gears, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. But it's coming. Was it the same Deadite in that infects the other? At the end it's revealed that there was a woman who also lived in the apartment.
Yeah.
Who just slept through the whole event. She'd had a big night apparently, and then she's going to go out on vacation, and then she goes to the cabin.
Yeah.
She's going to go to the cabin where the opening sequence took place, and she gets infected by the Deadite. She gets possessed by the Deadite before she leaves the apartment building.
I'm assuming that because the body was mashed so badly, and even though you see it, like parts of it twitching, that it would just leave. It's like, well, I can't do anything. Like, it won't leave unless it's like,
right.
well, I have to.
But unless it's another Dead, like maybe the...
It could be another one.
Because I wonder if, like, generally speaking, in the previous
because there
ones,
was 3 of them at the end. So I guess is the way the infection works that when you infect someone else, like another entity is able to enter.
I don't know.
Because remember there was a moment where one of the guys in the hallway is infected and he refers to like the mother Deadite as his friend.
Yeah, okay,
So
right.
I'm assuming like she's just letting all her mates.
Yeah, that
through.
could be it. Yeah. So in the Buffy franchise, James, I don't know if you're aware of this.
I know everything. Go on.
So how vampirism works is vampires are demonic entities that cannot exist in the physical realm unless they have a host body. So when a vampire...
So David Borealis.
Yeah, David Borealis.
Yeah.
What says Borealis?
Do you like David Borealis?
I love David Borealis. When a vampire turns another vampire, there's like summoning a demon into that body kind of thing.
Okay.
So I guess it's similar to that.
Gotcha.
Like, once you open the floodgates, once you get one into the physical realm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, is it... But also, like in the previous movies, if you kill a Deadite, like if you cut their head off or you blow their head off, they're done.
Yeah.
They tend not to reinfect other people, I think.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if this was maybe just a second Deadite spirit that was in the
Yeah, maybe.
physical
It seemed
realm.
like she got swarmed by like 3.
Yeah, right.
Because there
right.
was 3 cameras coming at her. But I don't know. It's just whoever
Maybe
gets there
that's
first.
Yeah.
I assume.
Maybe they didn't think about it and they're like, we'll worry about it in the sequel.
Yeah.
It's more very likely.
I think it was fine in terms like law wise, where it didn't bother me. And looking back at the previous stuff, I'm not like, well, that isn't consistent with that because again, it's a different book and a different demon that can probably do a different thing.
The Naturon de Monto.
Very cool,
Dr.
name.
de Monto.
Oh, I hear you. Here's the future. We're living it. What do you think?
Flying cars, I love it.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty good.
I have
A world wide web of information.
I have one of those water jetpacks.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
You're just spinning wildly in your backyard.
Yeah. It's just the end of it's in a bucket of water.
Yeah.
So it's over pretty quickly. The future of this is by Bruce Campbell, who
Ooh.
he's a producer on these now, which makes sense.
Produce Campbell.
Thank you. It's his real name.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I think these stories will progress a little more now. We're going to try and do more of them like every 2 or 3 years rather than every 10 years. It's also the first time Sam is working with his brother Ivan to create an overall Bible that will give future writers and directors an idea of where this thing should go next to potentially tie into some of these stories. So I think it's going to get a little bit more tied in as the years go by. But because it's all about the books, it could be a book in the past, a book in the future. It's yet to be determined.
Interesting.
And I like that idea because these books are ancient.
Yes.
And we hear a bit of this in this because you hear like the priest who finds a Necronomicon. It's like, I'm
so-
going to open this. It's going to be cool.
So this is a bit. This felt a little. You settle into it, but it felt a little bit like audio logs, like you mentioned, BioShock.
Totally.
Because there is an earthquake, and some of the building is sort of knocked down partially, and we in the.
I don't think that was an accident.
Oh my god! Yeah. In the garage, a big hole opens up, and we find a safe. And in the safe, there's the Necronomicon and some records from the 1920s.
Yeah.
And the they are record. That was jazz time. Thank you.
Time for jazz time. Again, more jazz. So go on.
And then the races of hour. But it's recorded. It's sort of field recordings of a bunch of priests, or one priest in particular, who's found this Necronomicon and is like, seems pretty crazy. I reckon I'll read from it.
Yeah.
And so, as you mentioned earlier, there's a voice cameo from Bruce Campbell in one of the recordings. There's some sort of.
I didn't recognize him when the voice. I just saw it at the end.
There's a sort of a town square meeting or meeting of various priests, and somebody voiced by Bruce Campbell says, "It's called you shouldn't read from it. It's called the Book of the Dead for a reason," kind of thing. And so apparently, according to the director, that's canonically Ash Williams from the previous movies.
Oh shit!
So what's he doing in the 20s? Dunno.
Oh, that's great.
But that's him.
So it's actually
supposed to be Ash Williams.
Fuck, that's great. Cool. Because I think, as we saw with like the Predator franchise recently, you can go anywhere with it.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you?
And because you haven't seen Army of Darkness,
no,
but he gets sent back in time.
Okay.
And then depending on the ending of the movie, like the version you see, he either remains in the past or he ends up back in the present day.
Yeah.
But there's been a Deadite invasion in the present day. So maybe he's just making his way through from the ancient world to
like
the
when
present
Batman thundered through time.
Exactly.
I remember
That's
that.
cool.
That is cool. So, yeah, I think this is also going to do well enough where they'll be able to tell some of those stories. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, look, I like this direction. If they don't bring back Ash Williams, that's fine.
Yep.
But also I would love to see Bruce Campbell.
I think we will.
I think it's just the best. Every time this happened all this week on Twitter, just a bunch of people finding Bruce Campbell clips from old shows and stuff that he's been in and going, damn, that guy's so handsome and charismatic.
Yeah. You forget.
Yeah, you do.
I'm not that he's not handsome and charismatic now. It's just that he's 65 or whatever he is.
Yeah, but like, and people going, like, why didn't he, become like a megastar? And I think it's the John Hamm thing where he's charismatic and he's funny and people go, what do we do with that?
Nothing.
Yeah, let's do nothing.
So this is directed by Lee Cronin, who's directed some stuff in the past, but nothing that's been like this successful. He did a movie. I might check this out. It's called The Hole in the Ground.
Oh, yes.
2019. Which I'm just having a look. Is it any good? Apparently it's all right.
Oh,
there you
that's
go. Apparently
all
it's pretty
right.
good. So, yeah, I'll check him out as an Irish director. So, there you go.
That's all right.
Should we move it along?
Yes.
Do you want to do?
I do.
Let's do it.
All right.
I'm doing the thing. What are we reading today? A couple of things, Mason, we should mention. At bigsandwich.co, which is our private Patreon, which
yes.
I know you're familiar with, we looked at a comic this week called Reckless, which you
that's right.
recommended. We brought up last week when the Auntie Donna boys were here.
That's right.
Just the two of them.
That's right.
I thought it was one of our better episodes.
Oh, yes.
If not best.
Ooh.
No, I really enjoyed talking about it. I think it's a good episode in general. People want to check that out. Or even if you don't, that comic is really cool.
Yeah, we recorded some fun bonus stuff a couple of days ago, yesterday, a million years ago, in the future. Don't know. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We figure after you die, we'll need some content to go on
Exactly.
with. So,
Yeah. So we got 2 weeks of content after I die.
That's right. Which I think is what you'd want, I reckon.
Yeah.
Just a beautiful memorial to you.
Exactly. Yeah. Can you come to my grave and tell me the YouTube analytics for it as well?
I don't know if I'll have time, but I'll print them off and I'll chuck them out the window of the car as I'm driving by.
Okay.
Actually, that's probably more work because I'll have to go to Office Works.
You can just not do any of it.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man.
All right. Have you got something that you want to talk about before I launch into The Mandalorian just for a little bit?
I read, speaking of comic books, I read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Which is delightful. That's another Tom King
we keep accidentally doing Tom King books.
Yeah, because he's clearly like, I like writing 6 issues or 12 issues, like one-shot kind of situations. It is like, I would say narratively it's quite similar to the previous thing we talked about, which is Superman Up and Away.
Absolutely.
Because it's Supergirl going into deep space with a mission in mind. Yeah. She's got to achieve a goal. But in this case, she is being accompanied by a woman from an alien planet who's on a mission of vengeance, and she's trying to sort of talk her way out of it.
Exactly.
And but I mean, like narratively quite similar.
Yeah.
But I think like thematically
different.
Quite different.
I agree.
I thought it was delightful, great art.
It's going to make a good
terrific
movie.
stuff. I also purchased It's Not Here Yet.
So I'll say that again. It could make a good movie.
Could make a good movie. That's right. That's right. But anything could, couldn't it?
Anything could.
I also got a copy. I bought a copy. It's not here yet.
You're buying so many physical copies of
I'm
things.
loving it. I'm
Mason.
getting big time back into it. It's a DC Black Label series called The Nice House on the Lake. I don't know anything
How
about it.
How nice is this house?
I don't reckon it's probably that nice. Based on the cover, I don't reckon it's that nice at all.
Let me check.
I don't know what's about. I don't even know if it's superhero based. But it's DC Black Label.
It says it's a Batman story.
Oh,
and
that's
Superman's in it.
Oh, yeah, cool.
They're best mates.
Oh, wow.
And they have a bath together?
Oh, that's crazy.
Okay.
You get up to anything at a nice house in a lake, you know?
Oh, James
Tinny Man?
Yeah.
James Tinny Man the
Tinny
Fourth?
The fourth, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I might check this out too.
So I'm excited to get into that when it arrives. So
All right, cool. Well,
it's just so much better. Like having read a bunch of stuff on tablets and
yeah, it is
and
better.
phones or what have you.
You just have to wait.
Yeah, you just God.
No.
Sometimes up to 24 hours.
Mate, all my bookshelves are full though of like just we've got a lot of kids' books, and I've just got no room for
Chuck
anything.
them. Chuck the kids' books.
We are actually going to do a big purge of kids' books. Yeah, so if you need any grug books, you got them.
Go to a library, take them out.
Take them
never
out.
bring them back.
That's right.
That's a tip from me to you.
All right. So the Mandalorian season 3 has wrapped up.
Okay.
Okay.
It's Raptolorian.
Yeah, I'm going to spoil it.
Okay.
I know you don't care.
I absolutely
But
do not
others
care.
might if you do want to skip ahead.
Also, like, I know enough about Star Wars that when I go onto Twitter and they're a Mandalorian, like, I can just,
You
from
figure it out.
context, I can figure out what happened, basically.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is spoiler territory from now on.
Yeah. There again, time codes if you want to skip ahead. I thought I didn't like this. I didn't love the season. I should say overall. I think the previous two were stronger. I think though there were some weird little standalone episodes which I did like. I know there was a big hullabaloo because Lizzo and Jack Black were in an episode briefly.
yes,
That was my favorite episode of the season.
Now, what is the premise of that episode?
That one they go to a weird former Imperial planet, which is like this beautiful paradise utopia now because the whole
Mandalorian and
Mandalorian
Grogu.
and Grogu and Bo-Katan.
Uh-huh.
But and Christopher Lloyd's in it, and for some reason the robots, some of them every now and then are going like rogue and like hurting, killing people and whatever. So the administrators of the city, which is Jack Black and Lizzo, task the Mandalorian with figuring out what's going on. So they just do a little detective noir thing, like it's going to different bars and speaking of robots and figuring they have like a little foot chase through the city and whatever.
Love it.
And it was really
A
cool.
foot chase in the style of the Book of Boba Fett.
Exactly.
Of that level of quality.
That's what it felt like.
Terrific.
So I know a lot of people didn't like that one. I loved it. I thought it was really like, and it had its own weird kind of inconsistent logic to it, which I enjoyed as well.
Does Jack Black sing the song Mando, Mando, Mando,
He
Mando, Mando?
sings the Mando song, yes.
Great, that's great.
But I think the overall...
Grogu.
Right. The overall...
Written it on the day. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it. The overall story for the season was, I found pretty underwhelming in terms of like how they finished up things that had come before and how they it kind of wraps up the whole arc of the Mandalorian. It feels like at least the end.
As if there's never going to be another season.
Yeah,
perhaps,
which they're
potentially, but there will.
I mean,
be.
he'll at very least show up in other stuff, but yeah. So I think the action in this, there's some pretty good stuff in it. Like they retake Mandalore at one point, and there's like the sky is full of Mandalorians fighting stormtroopers with jetpacks and shit.
Oh my god, would I recognize some of them?
Well, yeah, probably no.
But would I recognize the concept?
You'd
It'd be
recognise
I know
the
that from
concept
other
of
stuff.
it.
Okay,
And
I
that was
recognize
cool.
jetpacks, right?
Yeah, recognize jetpacks. And the Stormtrooper ones, which I think they've appeared in Rebels or a variation, they're the very first early design of Boba Fett, which was going to be like an elite Stormtrooper.
Oh, yeah,
guy or
that's right,
something. It's like it's basically a white Boba Fett.
A Ralph McQuarrie design.
Yeah, exactly. There's a moment where Din Djarin has to fight through a series of those guys to get through it's like those Darth Maul laser doors.
Okay.
And he's doing them like one at a time.
Yeah, right,
Going through. I like that.
Oh, sounds like a Daredevil hallway fight.
It is a bit like that. There's
As good?
No. There's a
a
lot of
shame.
like scrapping, like he's scrapping on the ground, he slips and he kicks out someone's knee and whatever.
Okay.
This series should also be called And Then There Was a Big Monster.
Oh, yeah,
Because
nice.
every now and then it'll be like, and then there was a big monster. And a big monster goes, rah. Happened like 4 fucking times this season.
Okay, and that's fairly par for the course.
Yeah, but
I
it
think.
happened a lot. And
Okay.
and also one of them early on, the very first episode, I think it's the first episode or one of the early ones, opens with one of the kids taking on the Mandalorian oath and they're standing on the edge of a lake and a giant
The Mandalorian.
and a giant dinosaur.
Mandalorian oath.
Yes, a giant crocodile-sized dinosaur comes out of the river.
Okay.
And they fight it. And then the Mandalorian flies in and he shoots it with his ship. And then he lands and they're like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I came to help. And they're like,
you broke your oath of never killing one of those crocodile dinosaurs.
They're like, you broke your oath. We talked about this in the previous season.
That's right, I'm self-aware. You're not, but I am. I know what we're doing here. I'm a minor character that knows I'm in a TV series.
And then
there's always got to be one.
There's an episode, I think it may be one, maybe two later, where they're standing on the same bank and a different monster shows up and snatches a kid and flies away, right?
I wouldn't hang out by that river. I simply wouldn't.
Exactly. And so they fly after the monster and they're like, when we never catch the monster when this happens because we don't have enough fuel. And it's like, how many times is this? There's like fucking 14 of you guys, right?
Put a fence up.
Yeah, what are you doing? It's like, be ready for when this thing turns up.
Put up a fencealorian.
Yeah. So shit like that is like...
Okay, right.
What I can see why there's not very many of you.
Okay, so what eventually becomes the sort of the plot thrust of this
Okay,
season?
so eventually Moff Gideon, it turns out, he shows up. And there's some interesting kind of spy
this is
stuff.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, there's some stuff that I really like where they go back to Coruscant and they talk about how like...
that's the city planet.
Correct. It used to be called Imperial City or something. Maybe it wasn't. I don't fucking know. Well, I think it was in Legends. I don't know what it is now.
That's what the title card says.
Whatever you think.
Yeah.
But and it shows how the New Republic is establishing itself, but it also shows how it's going to collapse again because it's caught up in the bureaucracy and
those pencil pushes.
Litigation.
And
the 1% don't really care, and there's also like Imperial spies like among it also.
Sounds a little political to me.
It got a little bit political, but I enjoyed it. Like, and there was shades of like Andor in that, from kind of visiting that area. But then, so I think, the reason why it felt like I think it was also treading water is because, of course, the end of season 2, Luke Skywalker showed up and goes, I'm here, I'm from the original trilogy. And everybody fucking cried and lost their minds and whatever.
He is from the original trilogy. I'm that guy from earlier. We're all fictional. Life's hell. It's a living hell. I could be erased at any moment.
I don't exist when I'm not on screen.
I just hide behind that corner and I shiver.
But so that
Luke Skywalker comes back.
He comes back, and I mean, I know you know this, but then in the Book of Boba Fett, they resolved that entire narrative.
Yeah,
and that should have been in this.
Yeah,
because it would have added some weight to them coming back together in the season, which is about those characters.
Right.
So then it just felt kind of like a lot of Grogu was just kind of tagging along and whatever for it. Because they're not going to get rid of that character for any length because, people like him and sells merch and whatever. There's also a resolution of the Darksaber because you know how he gets the Darksaber? And Bo-Katan's like, you can only win the button.
You can only win the boss.
You can win the Darksaber if you have a big combat. And then
but he did, didn't he?
He did because he beat Moff Gideon, who she gave it to or whatever. And, they talk about that. It doesn't matter, but they talk about how that kind of happens.
So if you have the Darksaber, you're the leader of the Mandalorians?
You're the leader of the Mandalorians. So
then you could change all the rules.
So he's carrying it with him. There's a moment where he gets captured by like a weird underground crab alien on Mandalore, and she comes and rescues him, and she uses the Darksaber to destroy the creature, and she gives it back to him. Okay. And then he just hangs on to it for 3 episodes. And then she decides that she's going to lead the Mandalorians again. So she goes and finds the other ones or whatever who used to work with her. And she's like, you should come with me. And one of them's like, you don't even have the Darksaber, which happened on the guy. And I remember a previous episode where you lost the Darksaber.
Canonically.
Yeah.
I know you have to have the Darksaber if you want to lead me.
And then they have a fight, or at the very least...
Who does? Bo-Katan.
Then that guy.
Okay.
And then it's resolved, or the vice versa. But basically it's revealed that Din Djarin just goes, oh yeah, by the way, I lost the Darksaber in a cavern because a big crab monster got it from me. And then she picked it up and she defeated the crab monster. But even though she gave it back to me, technically it belongs to her. So she's a leader or whatever. Okay. So he just reveals that like 3 episodes later. Okay. Which isn't like, it just feels like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. We did it. And I felt like maybe that could have been resolved in a better way.
Oh, sure.
I'm guessing.
Does it feel like they initially, perhaps they were like, okay, well, the Mandalorian can lead all the Mandalorians, but maybe we don't want it to go in that direction, so we'll just have him hand the sword over. Okay.
Potentially, yeah. I also think they might be writing him out for a reason which I'll get to in a moment.
Or Pedro Pascal doesn't want to be on set?
We'll talk
already
about
doing another show.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, but anyway, so they realise the Moff Gideon has escaped, and that's cool.
I'm liking this recap, by the way.
There, thanks. they realize that he's escaped, and they're like, we got to get this fella because he's bad. He's bad news and whatever. What's his plan? Anyway, they reveal the plan that he's got a bunch of clones and it's of himself.
Okay, great.
And that's a callback to like the first season where he's working on cloning and he wants to get DNA from Grogu and whatever. You probably remember that, but you don't have to. Because there's a moment where he's...
Dianogu.
Yes. There's a moment where the Mandalorian just pushes a bunch of buttons and they all explode and whatever.
Nice.
So he goes and he goes, no, I don't like this. And he pushes the buttons, they all fucking explode.
I'll push the exploding clone buttons over here.
Exactly, right?
Okay, great.
And then he goes out and Moff Gideon puts on his Boba Fett clone armor, which
Did
is
he
like...
have that already?
Yeah, he built it. And it's
Was
like...
it in a previous season?
It's on Beskar because I forgot to mention this, but he set up his base on Mandalore and he's been that's where he's been hiding.
Oh, nice.
So there's an Imperial base on Mandalore. And that's a kind of a cool reveal because when they land there to kind of retake it and find the old Mandalorians, they run into a cave and they're ambushed and they go deeper into the cave and all
They
of
should
a
stop going to these caves.
I
They get
agree.
ambushed. They lose their sword to a crab.
He falls down in the water that one time, which people are like, I know because we put up a short on YouTube about how the Mandalorian is an idiot and he maybe shouldn't have walked into the water. And I'm still getting people going like, well, actually, he's not an idiot and you're an idiot. There was supposed to be stairs there and there wasn't. But also, like, I don't know why I'm defending my decision.
Check for stairs.
Check for fucking stairs. The whole thing is falling down. Fuck, Jesus. He is an idiot. But that's also the point of the character. Like, I know that. Like, he's good at, like, he's good in a quick draw. But he can't fight. He does no peripherals. He doesn't know what the fuck's happening half the time.
Mandalorian is the reason why so many places have those weird warning signs.
Exactly.
They're like, check the depth of the pool before you jump in the pool.
Remember when he got beat up by a bunch of fucking Jawas? Like, he's a moron, and that's okay. He's an idiot. Like, whatever. Anyway.
Okay, all the clones get exploded.
There's like 12 or whatever.
Clone.
And they're force sensitive. And then Moff Gideon turns up and he's like...
Is Moff Gideon force sensitive?
No.
But is it because he got his DNA, he put the Grogu DNA.
Yeah, because he's making versions of himself.
So he's part Grogu, these clones are.
I don't know. They just look like him. Okay. But they're dead.
How do they figure out they're force sensitive?
Well, they figure out they're force sensitive because when he faces Din Djarin at the end, he goes, you exploded my clones that were force sensitive.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, come on, you could have like done that a bit better. Anyway, they have a punch up.
Nice.
And then Bo-Katan comes in and he actually destroys the Darksaber.
Whoa.
And I'm like, good, who cares? But she realizes at this point that, and he even says this to her, that like, I don't follow you because you've got a sword. I think you're cool. And that's why I'm following you. And that's why everybody will probably follow you. So even though she got the thing broken, also he breaks it because he's wearing an exo armor because he's got a super suit on. Okay. But his hands aren't super, but it doesn't matter. Anyway.
Yes.
He dies in a big explosion.
Moff Gideon.
Yeah, but Grogu he blocks the fire. He stops them in a force bubble. There's also some like those red Imperial guards that they beat up a bunch of times, and they're cool. They're always good to see. But and then she's like, I'm the winner and I'm the boss, and he goes back to the planet of the guy from Creed, and he gives Mando, who I love. And IG-11 is back, and also Grogu is in IG-11.
I saw that.
He rides around in it, but it gets destroyed. And then they live in a little house together.
Okay.
And he's like, well, and he goes and sees the Rebel Alliance or the new guys, and he's like, if you ever need me, you can pay me money, and I'll come and shoot some dudes for you.
Nice.
And he's like, all right, cool.
Nice. And does anybody turn around and it's CGI Han Solo around?
No, it's none of that.
That's a shame.
And he never takes his helmet off, right?
Right.
And every season he has taken his helmet off, but apparently it was a scheduling thing because of the Last of Us. Mm-hmm. But the thing with that is, at this point, if you don't see his face every now and then, he just feels like an emotionless dude just wandering around. And it's so very clearly not Pedro Pascal that I find that there's this real disconnect. And you need that reminder that this is a famous man and a character. Because otherwise you don't get that. And I'm okay with like, I guess I'd be also okay if they left the helmet on up until this point, maybe even.
Yeah, right.
But the fact that they've taken it off in multiple seasons, and this season, it does feel like 80-yard whatever.
Yeah,
He's obviously like not in this show like at all, because there was also a thing about how they wanted to pay him as a voice actor in the first season.
Oh, I see.
And he was like, well, no, I'll show my face and then you can actually pay me properly, please. That would be great.
Yeah, right.
And so the way this wraps up, I feel like because he's doing Last of Us and he's probably getting so many other opportunities, we are going to see this character. But I don't know I don't know how much, or if he is going to take his helmet off at all anymore. And I just feel like at this point you need that. And it's also, he's past the point, and so are a lot of people, because they talk about how like every Mandalorian is different, and the Mandalorians who take the helmet off, they're okay, and the ones who don't take the helmet off, they're okay.
Is that why Bo-Katan can...
Yeah, she
wander
does
around with that
whatever. But
helmet?
she also takes the Mandalorian creed at one point, so she leaves her helmet on because she's in the water at the same time as him. And then later she meets the armorer, who people thought was going to betray them, because there's an episode called The Spies, and it seems like she's conveniently not the places where she's supposed to be when the things happen. Anyway, it ends up being nothing. She's not a spy.
She was just down the shops.
She was just down the shops. And then she's like, Bo-Katan, you took the thing, didn't you? You took the creed with your helmet on? Bo-Katan's like, yeah. And then she's like, well, now you're one of us. And then like at the end of the episode, she's like, just take your fucking helmet off. Who cares?
Right, this is really good. This is good. This cult seems weird and inconsistent.
Yeah, it is. But the point of that being is like the armorer wanted to make clear to like all Mandalorians, even if you've got a weird creed where you have to wear a helmet, you can't say anything, and you keep slipping around.
Or your Apollo creed.
Yeah, or your Apollo creed. You can be whatever. And I think also they should have locked in Pedro Pascal to actually be in these episodes helmetless for a lot of it. Because it just feels like there's no main character in these stories a lot of the time.
What if maybe like when he went to fight that crab or whatever and it took the Darksaber?
Yeah.
What if it knocked his helmet off and he had to wear like a scarf over his face or something? That'd be cool. And then you could see his eyes and be like, oh, okay.
Something.
But I guess he was busy.
He was busy.
Yeah.
And there's a moment even in the second last episode, and then he gets captured and Grogu saves him in the little IG-11 robot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, the last episode will be the bit where they capture him and they take the helmet off and gone, see, your creed's worthless and you're an idiot. And then and then he's like, I'm not about the creed. I'm about
family.
I'm about using this flamethrower I have. And
That's right.
Whatever.
That I forgot I had for most of this season. And the guy's like, he's getting it. He's realizing he's not real.
But so but he does use the flamethrower quite a bit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But overall, I would even say, like, it's fine. Like, I like it.
Okay,
it's
cool.
fun, and I like Star Wars for the most part, even bad Star Wars.
Maybe I'll watch the Jack Black Lizzo episode.
Yeah. And, I think it resolved a lot of animated stuff, which, people were looking to see. And I think it's interesting the way it is going to ramp up into like Ahsoka and Thrawn, and then they're going to have a scene where everybody's de-aged from the original trilogy. Yeah. That's what's in the movie or whatever.
It's really interesting that there are so many what I would consider very interesting characters in this, like Ahsoka and Bo-Katan, just actors I like, characters I like, Mandalorian, the de-aged original series cast or whatever. But I'm like, maybe I'll watch an episode.
And where Andor, I think Andor also seeing that and then this, it makes you go, okay. Right. And especially because this season is very clearly not as strong as the previous two.
But also at the same time, I'm ordinarily a fan of just a fun series with shooting action and characters but maybe that's it, because I'll watch anything that has fun action and also compelling characters that I like seeing on the screen. And perhaps it's a part of that you never see him on the screen.
Yeah.
So that's not compelling, you know?
Exactly.
You can only trade on that strong silent type for a while before you're like, is there anybody in that?
Yeah.
Have they just propped that suit against the wall? Listen, I'm going to go get Grogu back, but I'm going to do it while leaning against this wall.
I called him, so I'm just going to wait here.
That's right.
He'll be here.
We cut to the Imperial base. Oh my God, it's the Mandalorian. It's just a suit against the bulkhead. They've propped the gun up with a stick.
That's right, I am here.
Yeah,
Don't make me use my flamethrower, which I have.
That's right. Better surrender. He's going to use his flamethrower.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mandalorian.
Oh, I'm so glad I rescued you, and now we're relaxing on the beach, Grogu, and it's just the suit swinging in a hammock.
I like the idea of this show. It's the Mandalorian, but he
falls out, and it's just
a broom.
Just a broom. It's just a broom with a watermelon on top, and a seagull comes down and starts pecking the watermelon.
Anyway, it's pretty fun, and they learn to work together, and they unite.
Oh, that's great.
Mandalorians and whatever, but it does feel like the end, at the very end, the end of his story for now.
Okay.
And the next story will be a different thing, or he'll be pared down a bit.
Do you feel like, because a lot of people have said, this, some Star Wars these days is just the creators smashing action figures together.
I guess a little bit, but this. Oh, the stuff that it draws upon is there's Zeb is in it from Rebels.
Zeb from Rebels?
Zebels.
Zebels Rebel?
Yeah. So there's a few and that character in the Bo-Katan and whatever. So it's more peripheral characters.
Right.
Well, they're not peripheral in their own series.
Okay, yeah.
It feels more like that than Princess,
one's peripheral in their own
Princess
series.
Leia's here to use Darth Maul's lightsaber to whatever, it's not
Hell
it's not like that.
Well,
But it could be.
yeah.
Yeah. All in all, it's fine.
Okay, great.
So-
Does it feel like then that, is it Filoni and Favreau? Does
Yeah.
it feel like they're like, well, we're moving on to the next thing?
It does feel a bit
so
like
we'll
that,
just
yeah.
we'll just toss this one aside.
And I'm sure,
which is
like-
disappointing.
Yeah, I'm sure and you see that in I think some episodes of Rebels where he was moving away to work on other stuff.
Right.
But it does feel like that we're going in other directions and we need to get ready for that and kind of pare this down a bit.
Right.
And whatever. Again, I know it sounds like for me to come out at the end and go, yeah, it was fine.
It's very rich of you to come in and say that, James.
After saying all that. But that's just, that's how it's not like offensive, you know what I mean? It's like,
right.
yeah, it's fun. Yeah. They all work together. And they work together to beat up that guy at the end. And they survived the explosion because they worked as a team and he didn't survive. Or he did because maybe he wasn't the real one or a clone.
Probably wasn't the real one.
Or there's a clone of him
I
comes
do
back.
know this. All I know based on some various Twitter screenshots and so forth. Previous seasons, Moff Gideon had a mustache.
Yeah.
And this one doesn't have a mustache. And the clones don't have mustaches.
Yeah.
So the suggestion is that that Moff Gideon is a clone himself because he hasn't had time to grow that mustache.
That's something to think about.
That's right, yes.
Ask your parents.
Yeah.
They'll know.
I will. Hey, Dad, I got some questions about Moff Gideon.
Anyways, I also watched Picard season 3, which is the inverse of that because the third season is easily the strongest of the 3 seasons. The only thing I guess I didn't like of it, and this is a spoiler for like the real bad guys.
Oh, do we want people to know?
Well, they should skip ahead.
Well, I can't skip ahead.
Well, no, true. It's not a surprise.
Okay, great.
Put it that way.
All right, great.
But it's the Borg are back.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
And there's a moment where I think it's.
I mean, of what I've seen of it, there's a lot of like Battle of Wolf 359 references and stuff like that.
Yeah, shit like that. Exactly.
So it's going to be the Borg, right?
Yeah. So there's a moment where, like, you see the Borg cube, and he opens a door in his mind, and the Borg there, and I'm just like, oh, okay. And it's good. I think also if we hadn't seen the Borg Queen or a Borg Queen in the previous season,
yeah, right,
where they did a bunch of the Borg shit and that, and now they're just like, here's the Borg again.
Yeah, right.
But I think the storyline is good, and the resolution is nice, and just seeing those characters together, it does more than just having them stand around and be like, I remember this. Like Worf and fucking Riker, Rourke and Steven Dorff, they have a good relationship, and like because Riker's like constantly like ribbing him, he's giving him a bit of a. By the way, Michael Dorn, who plays Worf, looks incredible. I mean, I know he's got all the makeup on, but like he looks spectacular as like a grey-haired Worf. Warp? His name's Warp, isn't it?
His name's Warp. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
It's just
And the warp drive is his signature golf swing. That's why he's such good friends with Dorf.
Makes sense.
From Dorf on Golf. A reference that only I get.
What's
Dorf? I've explained Dorf on Golf.
It's
a series of comedy instructional golf videos with a guy who's put shoes on his knees.
From 1987.
Correct, yes.
Oh, my God.
See, it all ties
together. It's a comedy short starring Tim Conway and etc.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna try my best to watch for the rest of Picard.
Yeah, you should. And also at the end, it's like it gives a good kind of farewell to previous characters and sets up some characters that you're like, oh, I would like to see these people be the new Enterprise team.
Wesley Crusher.
Wesley
Crusher.
I can't remember if he's out.
You'd remember if Wesley
No,
Crusher
I don't think he's in it. Yeah, that's Will Wheaton.
Will
No,
Wheaton.
he turned up in the end of season 2 and was like, I'm a time police officer.
He was the
I don't
time police,
remember.
yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I think because they introduced like a guy who maybe he's Picard's son or whatever.
Ooh.
And I like him. Like the new characters they introduced.
I'm Vin Diesel. I'm Picard's son.
I'm bald. That's so you
I'm
know.
Dom Picard.
So I like all of that. And yeah, it's good. It feels like it's that really good balance. And I'm sure people will disagree with me of like fan service and like new stuff. And also bringing those characters forward. Like even in The Force Awakens where it's like Han Solo shows up and is like, I'm the same. Things changed.
He is the same.
Yeah.
That guy's the same from the previous movies we're all in.
Yeah. And then obviously people like love that. And it was good. I like that. But then Luke turns up and he's like, I'm different. And people are like, boo. I think this fight.
It's almost like some people change over time and some people don't. And I hate that. Because I'm one or the other of those categories. It's reflected upon me and I don't like that.
So I think that's, Yeah, I think this does well where everybody has moved forward. And Data comes back in a way. And given though that he died, do you remember he died like a couple of seasons
I'm a
ago?
van now.
Yeah,
yes,
he's a
I do
van,
remember.
yeah. But the
I've
way
been put in a van.
the way they bring him back is, I think, good. And
They put him in a van.
he's a van.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Warp gets in him and they drive around. Basically,
It's great. Solve mysteries.
they solve mysteries.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else?
That's everything, I think.
I think I went for a bit too long on
No, I think that was
some
the
of that.
perfect amount of time to talk about Warp and Worf.
It's Warp though, because it's one guy. I
Yeah,
assume.
yeah.
Cool.
A lot of people think it's Worf.
Who would think that?
I don't know. It's WORP, by the way. And that's also how you spell warp drive.
Whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's the noise it makes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we do letters?
Let's do it.
I've got a theme for letters. The classic one was
Letters, oh letters, we love you.
We do love letters.
They're only a day away.
We're going to hear right now. We're going to do letters. Oh, YouTube's just reminded me. There's a new Ahoy video. Did you watch the
Oh,
new
what's
Ahoy?
that, burgers or
Yeah,
something?
it's about a low-res pixel art image of a burger.
All right then.
Yeah.
Is it from Burger Time or something?
No, it's like an old piece of digital art that was made in a graphics program in like the 80s or 90s, probably the 80s, that had no save function. That's like a famous piece of art, but there's no original copy left of it.
Oh, okay.
So he sort of recreated it digitally.
That's cool.
It's very
Have
interesting.
you watched it?
I have.
Then why is it coming up in your recommends?
Just like I think my algorithms discovered that I just watch a lot of videos over and over again. It's like,
Sure.
you want to watch this again? I
Like
do.
our videos?
Yeah, love to do
Great.
that. Love to do that.
You know what I love?
What's that?
To read letters. And you
Oh,
can
yes.
reach the show by hashtag weeklyplanetpod on Twitter.
Oh, ain't
or
that the truth?
weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com. If you got one, you're ready to go, or I can do one.
Oh, I've got so many. This is from John.
John?
Movie commentary suggestion: Speed.
Yeah, I would love to do
Right?
Speed, actually.
Hey guys, I was on a Keanu kick after John Wick 4 and rewatched Speed. It was the first action movie I really remember as a kid. I think you guys would have fun with it. Ridiculous premise, of course.
Yep.
Fun cameos. And Dennis Hopper is chewing it up.
Yeah. Let's look. We talked about this earlier off air.
Yes.
But I want to do the movie The Time Machine.
For no
starring-
reason other than you want to watch The Time Machine starring Guy Pearce.
But maybe we should do a movie that people actually want.
Maybe.
And I love Speed. I'd love to watch Speed.
Yeah.
Again. So yeah, maybe we'll do Speed next.
Yeah. John says, as a year one whack-a-do and then big sandwicher, I want to thank you both for years of laughs. I've listened to you guys every Monday while I train, and as a result, I've completed 6 Ironman triathlons and 1 marathon.
Hot damn.
Couldn't have done it without you guys. Thank you, John. And normally we say, well, you know, I'm sure you could have done it without us. But I think in this instance,
I mean, 6.
yeah, I think you couldn't have done it without
Yeah.
us, honestly.
You probably could have done 2,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes you listen to like a musician or a songwriter
No.
and they've got a certain vibe to them where you go like, oh man, it must be really easy. Like they make it look easy to be
sure.
like, oh my God, you know, you just put your feelings out there. It's just,
People
you know,
think about us when they hear us
yeah,
podcast.
that's right. But speaking of John Wick, when I like started rewatching all the John Wick movies, after a while I started being like, yeah, I reckon I could do that. Because he makes it look so easy.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you just use their own body weight against them.
Yeah.
And you wrap your legs around their head and you flip them on the ground. You shoot them in the head. It's
I'd
easy.
be wearing the bulletproof suit as well.
That's
I
right.
could do
So it'd
that.
be easy. Yeah,
I could fall off a roof.
I just pull my jacket in front of my face.
Yeah, it's fine.
Very easy. So easy.
Okay. You're saying you're going to run some marathons?
No, I'm going to shoot a lot of people in the head though.
Okay, well, that's great.
Yeah.
Speed, though. Is that from John, did you say?
That's from John.
Thank you, John.
Okay, we should do Speed's great.
All right, we'll do it.
And it's got that delightful Sandra Bullock.
I wanted to do the Time Machine.
We can
mate.
do both. Not this week, obviously.
No,
we don't have time.
No, we don't. It's from Mark on Twitter.
Okay,
Hashtag
we
Weekly
can
Planet
start
Pod.
doing the time machine, and when you realize that it's not as good as you remember it, we can just abandon it midway
I
through.
bet it's exactly as good as I remember it.
So,
It's got some
okay.
really compelling ideas, but maybe it doesn't
Interesting,
come
okay.
together. And Jeremy Irons turns up as an albino man at the end.
That's right.
Hashtag Weekly Planet Pod from Mark, who says, I remember a post where your son wore a Power Rangers suit for Halloween. Was wondering if you have seen the new special, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always. I thought it was fun to see the old suits back in action with better effects. Otherwise, it was okay. I saw a discussion of this in the Planet Broadcasting Great Mates group.
Oh yes.
And that was the consensus of like, wow, it was cool to see some of these old characters come back, some of which are now dead in real life, which is unfortunate. But it was okay. It's
Great.
good if like if you like those characters in that era, it's like, oh, here we go.
Great.
But other than that, it's like fine.
was Zort on there?
Probably. I didn't watch it.
Was Bryan Cranston there?
Yeah, he was there.
Wow.
He said, "Boo, I'm in better stuff now."
Right.
He's right. He was right to be there and say that.
That's terrific. I love that.
But no, I haven't watched it yet. We're going to do some. There's going to be some more Power Rangers stuff. I'd imagine movies and stuff, and we'll probably cover this and the other movies and whatever down the line. But yeah, it's only the Blue Ranger and the Black Ranger come back as from the original season, and then other Rangers from I think the next season, like the next iteration. And, yeah, obviously again some are dead and Red didn't want to do it for various reasons. Also, cool, man.
Very cool. Here's another email.
I love emails.
This is from Callum. Subject line: Ryan Reynolds.
What?
He says, Ryan Reynolds is decidedly one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, but has he ever been in a great/very good film?
Oh, I've talked about this.
I probably would have reflexively said, of course, but looking at his filmography, he seems condemned to mediocrity. So I put the question to you. I imagine it'll all come down to whether either Deadpool films hold up today, but maybe you have some personal favourites. That's from Callum.
Wow.
I was speaking of last week, we mentioned people who team up and like
we did say that,
team-ups.
yeah.
The one that I forgot was Chris Evans and Ana de Armas, who were in Knives Out. But have also been in...
And that fake movie that looks fake.
They're in that fake movie, but in between they were also in The Grey Man, another fake movie that looks fake.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's another team up that I like and have good charisma in a decent movie that is being well directed. Like when the best is coming out, the best is being brought out of them.
Yeah,
but in other stuff, it seems. In other stuff, sometimes people will watch a clip of it and go, are they even in the same room?
Yeah, is this real?
Is this real or is this an ad for Starburst or something? Skittles.
And it's both.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It could be both. It could be a delightful action rom-com, but also...
Well, Shazam 2 was an ad for Skittles as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
I don't think we even talked about that when it came out.
Ryan Reynolds, what's his best movie?
Let's check.
I like Buried. Do you remember
I
Buried?
like Buried a lot, yeah.
Where he's...
I mean, the Deadpool movies are good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay, great. The Deadpool movies and the movie Buried.
What about the movie Definitely Maybe? What about the movie Waiting? What about his gin?
Oh, yeah. He puts a little bit of himself in all his gin.
What about his gym?
Oh.
There we go. Ryan Reynolds from filmography. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay. What video games has he been in? Green Lantern. Ghosted, Spirited, Bullet Train. Oh, yeah. The Atom Project, Red Notice, Free Guy, Deadpool and Korg React, Hitman's Wife Bodyguard, The Croods, Six Underground. I hated the 5 minutes I saw of that. Hobbs and Shaw, Detective Pikachu, people like that.
Yeah. He's in Mississippi Grind with bloody Australia's own Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn.
That's quite good. I like Mississippi Grind.
I haven't seen that.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say he's got a pretty solid filmography. But no, I see what you mean though. From like,
I think what happens a lot of the time, especially with people who are, destined to be A-listers,
Blade Trinity.
It's sort of a case of they do the huge movies, they make their millions and millions of dollars, and then it becomes a case of do they then branch out into something else for art, as part of artistic
credibility.
Credibility, thank you. Or they just like, but I could be making $20 million right now. And I don't know. I mean, Chris Evans has sort of gone in both directions. I really like Knives Out. Apparently Defending Jacob is very good.
Yeah, it is good.
Like I said, he's good when a director's, bringing the best out of him. But when it's just like, okay, you're going to stand here and shoot and then we'll fill in the rest later.
Absolutely. Yeah. My goodness. Did you like the movie Waiting?
He's in Adventureland, I forgot. That's a great movie.
I like Adventureland.
Yeah.
Is he one of the guys who runs the park or something?
Yeah, he's like Jesse Eisenberg's, isn't he like a sort of a mentor figure to him?
Something like that,
Like an older brother kind of guy.
He's like, I'm cool. I'm a cool old guy.
You know what? I'm going to say that's a great movie that he is in. He's not the essential part of making the movie great, but because I forgot he was in it.
Well, I think you could even say that for like a lot of movies. Like The Terminator isn't great because Arnold's in it. I mean, that's a part of it,
That's true.
But there are so many other factors. I wouldn't say Ryan Reynolds is ever bad, but like maybe not all of the other factors comes together to give him the movie that
that's right
you might want necessarily. You got another one? Because I have another one.
I got a couple others.
All right. Do you want to go first?
Oh, like this one. This is from Daniel.
Daniel?
Cannabis workers 420 strike includes Weekly Planet listeners.
All right.
Hey, James and Meso. My coworker Byron and I are both cannabis dispensary workers and huge fans of the Weekly Planet from Illinois. It was a great day when we realised we're both listeners. Last summer, us and our co-workers voted to form a union. We've been working on a contract with a company that will guarantee us fair pay and many other simple but great benefits.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the company stopped negotiating and forced one of the other union stores to remove their union badges. We're now on strike because of this unfair labour practice and will continue to be on strike until we get a fair contract. There's a link here, but I'm not going to read it out because it's too long. I was wondering if we could get a shout-out from one of our favourite podcasts. Thanks for all you do from Dan.
Shout out.
That's right.
Good for you guys.
That's right.
Do it.
Unions forever.
That's right.
We're a couple of big union men.
Unless they were corrupt.
Yeah, still. I'm still fine with
No,
that.
I don't
honestly.
care, to be honest.
I'm
Yeah,
still
it's
fine with that,
because of
actually.
it's because it's just corporations just robbing people blind.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
Bit of fun.
yeah.
If somebody could do a Weekly Planet logo where we're smoking big doobies,
That'd be great.
that'd be great.
I think also what
We could be a modern day Doobie Brothers.
I think a lot of people maybe don't realize that everything that we've ever gotten that's good in terms of the workforce, including like a livable wage and weekends off and like and reasonable hours and like reducing child labor, which I know in some places is going the opposite. This is because of things like this.
That's right.
Like everything that you like is because of a movement.
Don't email us. There's going to be
I don't
one
want to
guy.
fucking hear it. All right, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't want to hear
Actually,
it.
they've gone too far now. No, they haven't. They haven't.
You got to push back, and that's just the way things are done.
Oh, which reminds me, can I have next week off?
No, Mason.
Oh, what?
We're doing the Versus episode.
I'm
and
going to your funeral.
No, you got to
It's
edit
important.
together.
It's bereavement leave.
You got to edit together a show from previous clips of me and whatever.
Fine.
You wouldn't even
God.
be that sad.
We could do it with AI. It's fine. Just get a. They can do it now.
Anything else, Mason?
You've got one more.
I do from Lucy Nukes. Oh, Loose Nukes, who says,
Oh, I've got that right here.
what?
We were going to do the same email
says-
or tweet,
I
possibly.
got any chance I could get a shout out. Was able to get John Batchelor. Is that one?
Yes.
The Man Thing Rodney Screaming Guy to subscribe to Mr. Sunday Movie. See the screenshot below.
Yeah.
What do you got, Mason?
It's the same thing.
Yeah, so basically, if you're familiar with Caravan of Garbage, there's a recurring segment now called
Green
Trivia and the guy who shouts Rodney, which is from our
Man
Thing
Thing
episode.
Yeah, because that was filmed in Australia.
Yeah.
And that character is played by a delightful character actor, John Batchelor.
That's right.
Who has been in many Australian productions, but of course we know him best as the guy who wanders through a swamp,
Yeah.
knee-deep in slime and screams Rodney and gets...
Before he's impaled.
Yeah.
And it's great stuff.
It is great
and we
stuff.
love it.
Thank you to the Ben and Lawrence for
Yeah.
putting that together, because that's an evergreen, if
Yes.
you will, segment.
Also, if this is great, no, but please don't harass this man.
Yes.
Please let him live his life.
That's right.
I guess we should probably also start naming him in the videos. But then would that mean that more people would go to his Instagram and annoy him? So maybe we shouldn't?
Maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah, okay. Because I don't want it to be like, I want him to be acknowledged because I think he's genuinely terrific, but I don't want him to be hassled.
I think if you go back to the Man Thing video, we do mention him
Yeah.
like as being like. Well, I think generally speaking, we like that movie as a.
Oh
very-
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
It's a weird like little oddity that like Marvel completely abandoned and put like no money into, but it's actually all right.
Yeah.
I'm just going to his Instagram and I hope it's just not people screaming Rodney at him
right.
on every one of his photos.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. No, it's not yet. Good.
Okay, let's not do that, folks.
Let's leave this man alone.
Let's leave this man alone.
And let him live his life.
And with that, James.
Yeah.
Jinx.
What for?
We both said the same thing.
Did we?
So Jinx.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, thanks so much for listening to the podcast, folks. We definitely appreciate it. Let's see. Thank you for subscribing to the podcast. Thank you for telling your friends about the podcast, because if you tell friends, that's how we get new listeners, and that's how the podcast economy works. James, I've said your name, so you're no longer.
I was going to turn my laptop around and you were going
to read the reviews.
And you realize you'd have to do that.
That's
so.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You can actually. What was the word that we got jinxed on? I didn't even notice.
We both read the same email.
Oh, okay, great.
Which I think counts as a jinx.
That does actually, yeah. If you do you want to,
or a serendipity. It's also a serendipity.
we should do a
isn't it?
commentary on the movie Serendipity, starring Kate Beckinsale and John Cusack.
I love that.
This is from in-app and 5 stars. I'm only reading out the 5-star ones. Don't you coming in here with other? I don't want. Oh,
Don't you dare.
This is 4 stars because of the early audio quality. I don't want to hear about
Because
it.
occasionally we say starbs.
Yeah.
This is a 4-star review, we might say.
This is from Johnny.
Not me, just you.
Johnny Quest 037, who says, "My favorite podcast, best podcast ever. Just listen to the episode about snake eyes and you'll be instantly hooked." This is from Buffalo Bill Esquire, who says, "Sandwiches, foxes, pigs, and frozen air. I just wanted a big sandwich and I thought, I was getting a manwich, but I found out some soy boy, some Meso said he had a box of toys, but nothing was in the box, and Maid Marian is a fox rolling down the hill like a pig. Even 30% of James is still big, but mostly frozen air is glass. It's red hot comic book movie news shooting up your butthole.
I think that person's having a breakdown.
Yeah.
But it's also a 5-star review, so we'll take it.
I don't recognize any of the things that this person was talking about, but that's good to know.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
It's good to know we've produced that much memorable content, I think. Folks, if you want to get into contact with us, you can go to weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com, at Facebook, at Twitter, at Bandcamp. You can go to the Planet Broadcasting Great Mates Facebook group. You can go to the Weekly Planet Pod subreddit and Discord if you want to have some fun, good time, civil chats with people about podcasts and pop culture.
You know it.
Let's see, if you want to follow some people on the socials, first follow our friend Rob Collings. He's at Raw Collings on Twitter. He's also at The Weekly Planet on Twitter. From there, you can get Weekly Planet news and podcast news and trailers and little videos and updates and all sorts of stuff. You should follow all the editors.
I completely
follow
agree.
Ben Charnapin on Twitter and Lawrence Hissey.
But not Matt, because he's got a new job.
That's right. You can follow Matt.
You can follow Matt at Rest
The
Off,
links will be
Absolutely.
If you want to follow me, you can follow me at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter and Nick Mesa on Instagram. James is Mr. Sunday Movies everywhere.
You can also follow people from the Great Mates group in various social media platforms, Mason.
I bet there's a post in there, a thread.
There
on
actually
all the
absolutely
socials.
is. Yeah.
Pretty great. If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies. Chuck it $1 or an amount you wouldn't miss, which could be 0 or 5 cents. It's fine.
Yeah,
Don't worry
that's
about
absolutely
it.
fine.
You don't have to.
But if you want the real deal.
Real deal, you go to bigsandwich.co.
That's
Sign up
right.
for $9 per month. Bonus podcast, movie commentaries, early videos, ad-free podcast fee, video game Let's Plays.
That's right.
We recorded a real ripper the other day.
Boy, did we.
Just James reliving all his old video game fun times.
And I stand by it.
So that'll be up pretty soon, I would imagine.
So yeah, if you do want to follow Maisie or Fidel or Sarabi, you can to the Grey Mates group or various other,
That's right.
platforms, etc. What else, Mason?
Folks, that's pretty much it. But you can follow the Thank You to the Brute and the Basilisk and Rack and Probably all our musical themes. If you want to get some t-shirts, you go to tpublic.com. You search for The Weekly Planet. Yes. Get either the one that you know to be sure is real or get a weird bootleg one.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
We don't care.
don't
or
care.
make any money off them. I don't know.
That's right. Or make your own.
Yeah, make your own.
Make your own.
That'd be cool.
Make your own. Link to it in the Facebook group.
Correct.
Yeah. Make it off something that is so weirdly obscure from this episode.
That nobody will want
you
it.
post it and people will go, what? What do you mean? Is that from the podcast? And then
Maybe.
somebody buys it and wears it.
That's right.
And it's a whole thing.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's right.
And they come up to us on the street and they go, well, look at this.
And we
we're
go,
like,
I don't know.
That's cool, man. That's cool. It's cool.
That's all we say.
Yeah.
Next week, the Versus episode, if you want to submit those to Reddit or hashtag Weekly Planet Pod on Twitter or the Great Mates Facebook group. And remember, it's going to be actors who play different
Multiple
roles
roles.
and whatever, and
they
fight each other.
Big time superhero showdown. That's what
It
we're
might
calling
be
it.
Deadpool versus Green Lantern.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.